The man was clearly a police officer, but secretly kept four Lolas locked in his basement. Others who saw this would think he was an extreme pervert. But only he knew that he had become so exhausted and helpless that he resorted to this. His real name was Ujite, a regressed awakened individual with a supernatural ability. In the 21st century, the Earth suddenly began to have gates appearing to other worlds. Thanks to them, humanity simultaneously awakened to extraordinary supernatural powers. To control and train fake ability users, the government built the Lair Academy. While things gradually stabilized, not far away, a dragon world called Escalopa sent down 4 dragon hatchlings to Earth. Their original intention was simply to let their offspring experience new joys. But they did not expect this to be their gravest mistake. After arriving on Earth, none of the 4 hatchlings could survive. Some were drawn into uncontrollable wars and perished. Some were crushed by human malice until they collapsed. Some, unable to complete their assigned missions, sought death themselves. This became the fuse that led to the dragon's revenge. He regressed many times, and although he had become as strong as one could be, it still wasn't enough to protect the whole world. On the 6th regression, he did everything possible. From sacrificing 50 years of his lifespan to borrow future power, to taking 3 steps ahead to prevent every possible threat. But in the end, after it all, he could only save a single person. Looking at the hundreds of millions of dragons before him, he could only sigh. If only at that time I had sat down. That girl, could things have been different? And so he fought the dragons for 3 days. But perhaps he also knew clearly that no matter how many he killed, it would never end. Once more he used that power, activating the Vitage clock to reverse the world's timeline. To Ujite, this familiar notification, the thing that made him the strongest again, was also what he bitterly hated. At times he felt utterly weary of this cycle of life and death. At times he wished he could die with humanity. At times he just wanted to walk out into the street like an ordinary person, to run and to play. But the power and blessing that once made him the world's strongest clung to his life and wouldn't let go. In this 7th life, he decided to try a different approach. The next day in Florence, Italy, in the cheerful atmosphere of everyone, Ujite suddenly appeared with a face. Calm, but deep within it was an exhaustion no one could understand. His eyes fixed straight on the blue-haired girl, and he spoke. "Hello, miss, could you come with me for a moment?" Green, hearing this, slowly turned her head. She took a deep breath as if preparing for something. A system suddenly appeared within the magic circle. The Towers of Babel collapsing mastering foreign languages and scripts. Green, with flushed cheeks and long deep green hair, softly said hello. "What do you need with me?" Ujite quickly replied, "There is a matter to deal with." She wondered, "Did you come because you know who I am?" He, with dark-circled eyes, admitted, "That's right. And do you know who I am?" Green quietly answered, "Yes, sir." Under the blue sky, she gently called Ujite's name. Green bashfully, though knowing the answer, still asked, "Right?" He darkened and questioned, "Where did you hear that name?" She pointed to the badge on Ujite's shirt and said, "It's there. On your chest it says Ujite." "Just kidding. I don't know who you are or what you do. But one thing I can guess is that you are extremely powerful. And completely out of place here." Ujite froze when he heard that, and his gaze shifted to the side. Green leaned forward, speculating, "Could it be you came to kill me?" He denied no. She then imagined another scenario. "Kidnapping?" Ujite replied indifferently, "That's close enough." Green immediately covered herself, eyes welling. "You two are a special kind who crave dragons." He could only sigh, "Don't joke around. I intend to protect you in this dangerous world. If you don't obey, I will have to use strong measures. Your people's eyes are said to read destiny, so you are more sensitive and quicker to grasp situations than other races." Green listened attentively as blue spiritual energy gradually radiated from her eyes. Ujite strode past where she stood, emphasizing each word. "You belong to that race too. Make a wise decision." Green forced a smile and asked tentatively, "So if I obediently follow you, will you treat me kindly?" He shoved his hands into his pockets and said firmly, "Yes." She closed her eyes and added, "I understand. After all, I have no right to choose, but you must treat me as an honored guest. Okay?" Then Green turned and walked step by step. She winked and raised her pinky. "This is a promise, uncle." Suddenly Green's finger trembled more than ever before. Ujite pressed his lips, observing her carefully. Then he extended his pinky and hooked it into Green's hand, replying, "All right, I promise." Cut to a high-rise building bathed in sunlight. She, looking sleepy, poked her head out the door. Green, wearing his thin shirt, rubbed her eyes and asked Uncle, "Are you awake?" She looked at Ujite sitting in front of a shadow and called Uncle. He was then ordering the Great Lord's Shadow SS to summon a doppelganger that could exert 50% of the original's power. "It's nothing, just go and do as I said." Then it transformed into Ujite and immediately obeyed. "Yes, I will obey, my lord." The original slowly stepped right in front of Green. She stared and said hello, thinking inwardly how identical they were. Ujite suddenly spoke, "Don't mind it. It's a doppelganger. Let it do the work." Green startled and turned. "Oh, Uncle, did you sleep well? But it seems you don't do tasks yourself, do you?" He sat reading the paper and casually said, "A doppelganger is also one of my abilities, so consider it as me doing it. Besides, I have to stay by your side." She forced a smile. "All right, then I'll make breakfast." Ujite mumbled the words breakfast. Green activated her body and replied, "Of course you should eat. You skipped dinner last night too." He waved it off. "I don't need it." She pressed her face into the pillow and whispered, "But it's awkward if the host doesn't eat and I eat alone." Ujite glanced and teased, "Are you always so food-minded? Dragons can live without eating." Green kicked happily and explained, "It's not about survival. Eating well makes you happy and lifts your mood." He asked dryly, "Is that so?" She stood up and pleaded, "No, Uncle, you must go grocery shopping with me." Ujite still refused. "I don't need to." Green turned her face, voice firm. "Let me show you the power of breakfast." Cut to the nearby S-Mart supermarket. People bustled back and forth in front of the supermarket hall. Everyone looked in one direction and whispered, "Look, Mom, is that woman a celebrity? The man she's with is good-looking too. Don't get too close or you'll get splattered." It's a pain. Turned out to be Ujite shopping with Green. He raised the shopping bag and asked, "Isn't this too much just for breakfast?" She raised a finger and said, "Earlier the kitchen had no ingredients or utensils. We'll need them later, so basic supplies are necessary. Come on, let's go home. I'll make breakfast quickly." Ujite sighed and objected, "Don't leave food at home. Eat out." Green, surprised, "Huh, really?" He closed his eyes and said, "I have somewhere to stop by. You must come along. And besides, breakfast time has long passed." Seeing that, Green lowered her head and softly said, "Sorry. It's been a long time since I've been shopping, so I'm just excited. But is there somewhere we must go?" Ujite, arms full, walked ahead and explained, "Living here requires a few things." Her head filled with question marks at his next words. "No need to rush. There's a lot to do." Cut to an old one-eyed man grinning with a toothy smile. "Is this girl the director's lover?" Ujite's face darkened as he threatened, "If you don't want to lose your remaining eye, shut up and work." The man huffed and then processed Green's information. After that, the two went out to collect their card. Soon a pile of jewelry appeared before them. The two happily pointed at the system board and discussed. After a while, Green held the ID in her hand and exclaimed, "Oh, I have an identity card too. It's magical." He was surprised. "Never had one before?" She continued, "It's not just an ID, there's an account and even hologram positioning." Seeing that, Ujite wondered how on earth she lives on this planet. Suddenly Green guessed, "Maybe they took your family name, and what's with the name BOM?" He quickly explained, "It's taken from the 4 seasons because there are 4 dragons." She, hearing that, happily exclaimed, "You BOM, I like that name. Spring is the season of sprouting life. It's so beautiful. Actually, I'm still a bit afraid of you, Uncle. My eyes are still warning me that you are very dangerous. But perhaps you're not a bad person." GT frowned and reminded him, "We've only met a day and you already dare to assert that?" Green turned and explained, "My intuition is sharper than anyone's because I'm of the Dragon Clan." She watched the peach petals falling before him, hesitating, and said, "So." Green's tone became extremely sweet. "Could I observe a little longer? Let's go home for dinner. I'll definitely cook something delicious." GT, seeing this, fell silent, the dragon's smile. Something he'd never seen before. He tilted his face up to the sky and watched the petals fall. GT closed his eyes, thinking silently that the beginning wasn't bad. Cut to a desolate place, the moon shining down from above. A desert somewhere in South Africa, where the land is barren. Red stood before a contemptuous guy. "What's this? All that posturing earlier for only this?" He gritted his teeth and coughed a few times. Seconds later, that man shouted as the girl's boot heel hit him. "You crazy. How dare you touch us and think you'll be safe?" Red unhesitatingly stepped on his head and declared, "Yeah, your face is ugly, so I stepped a bit hard. Probably not dead yet." The girl adjusted the mask on her face and exhaled, "So that's 199 fights, 199 wins." Red pulled it off, revealing a sly face as he murmured, "Who's next?" At this time, news outlets were continuously reporting rising violence in South Africa. The Bakata terrorist organization attacked. resulting in more than 1,400 civilian casualties. The South African Alliance, abbreviated SAN, declared Africa will not tolerate violence. The night's assailants continued clashing with SAN after Barkata. UGT read the news intently. It's time to act. Outside, Green announced, "Uncle, are you still busy? Dinner's ready." UGT replied, "I have to go now." Green laid out a horrifying dish. Uncertain if it was edible, UGT looked displeased at the horrific food before him. Green remained cheerful. "Is it good?" She excitedly recounted how she made it. "When I was in England, I learned a herring dish. Combined with Korean rice, it would be amazing. People say rice is strength, right?" UGT looked awkwardly at the herring head still on the spoon. He thought for a long while but still hesitated and couldn't eat. UGT put the spoon down and announced, "Tomorrow we'll pick up Red." Green asked, "Red?" She worried it'll be very difficult to bring her back. "She won't be as compliant as you are." UGT reassured her, "With you it will be easier to persuade." Green puzzled, I can help? There's still distance between dragon clans." UGT asked seriously, "Distance?" Green quickly explained, "Yes, dragons have different clans. My clan likes crafting, but Red's clan is different. They love war, flaunt strength. Coercing her is even more dangerous. For Red's clan, surrender is worse than death." UGT understood that, but still decided it must be done soon to fetch Red. "Someone is targeting the girl. If we don't, Red will die." He looked straight into Green's eyes. "So if you come along, things will go smoothly." He realized Green was staring at him. "Why are you looking at me like that?" Green smiled. "It's just that asking me for help like this is too much. I thought you always handled things on your own." Green's words made UGT fall silent. Green cheerfully continued, "Fine, I'll help. It's rare you ask, and I don't want Red to die." But suddenly her face turned cunning. "But I have conditions." UGT asked, "What?" Her condition was very simple. "You must finish everything I cook. I know you put down your chopsticks whenever Red is mentioned." For UGT, this was a request harder than anything. UGT squeezed his eyes shut and took a deep breath. He slowly scooped each spoonful and brought it to his mouth. "I understand." Cut to a desert area. Corpses in military uniforms lay strewn across the ground. Red was gripping a soldier by the collar, lifting him high, surrounded by rows of dead bodies. An old soldier was thrown hard to the ground. He coughed painfully, ahem. Red mocked, what weaklings." She turned her back angrily and walked off. "I don't want to win like this. Africa has no rivals left. Where to next?" Green is in Africa. Let's drop by and visit." Behind a wall, 2 soldiers lay in ambush. One held a knife, trembling, damn. He panicked. The elite SAN unit was destroyed by a little girl. The other, holding a gun, warned, "Don't underestimate her. She's a berserker monster." The other worried, "We don't have the strength. We must wait for his arrival." Before he finished, Red suddenly appeared behind them, swinging the sword in her hand. "What's all that whispering in the dark about?" The gunman spun around in panic, groaned, "What?" She didn't give them time to react. Planning to charge? Too late. Suddenly streaks of light flashed from afar, catching Red's attention. A beam of light struck toward Red. She quickly parried it. This time Red no longer looked composed. She struggled to think. This mana is too heavy. Red tightened her grip on the sword and inhaled. She unleashed a slash that severed the mana entirely. The 2 soldiers on the other side were stunned. She cut through the mana too. A monster, a mysterious-looking man approached. "Is that the Night Striker girl?" The 2 soldiers turned and said, "Lord Javier." The newcomer was Javier Karma, SAN's number 8. He ordered, "Fall back." On the other side, Red still asked confidently, "Startled yet?" She relaxed her arm after blocking the strike. "Was that heavy?" Red flashed a mischievous smile. "Are you the commander?" Javier marveled, heard she was female but younger than expected. Red stepped forward, tossing aside her now-broken sword. "Hey, you like me too? That's why I wear a mask." She kept talking to herself. "You all were so busy admiring my unrivaled beauty you couldn't fight." Javier scowled. "You've seen the power gap and still refuse to surrender?" Red sneered. "What? Running away is humiliating." Red gathered strength in her hands. Of course she would not accept surrender. She'd rather die fighting. Red charged confidently and found an opening. She punched Javier hard. He merely raised his sword to block gently. Then Red launched a flurry of strikes at him. She was still very confident. Watch this. Red intended to finish Javier with a vicious blow to the groin. The strike was executed but Red froze. Her fist reached his groin but didn't move. Javier said calmly, "It seems you've never fought someone stronger. All your previous fights were child's play." He leaned close to Red's face. A bit of wasted talent. As he spoke, he swung his enormous sword. "But I'm not a match for your games." Javier lunged. His sword slashed across Red's body. She tried to dodge in panic. Whoa! A vast flow of mana flooded into the blade. The swords. Javier's eyes flashed. He intended to deliver a finishing blow, powering up. Red could only defend. She couldn't avoid death in time. A massive streak of light cut into Red so fast it couldn't be tracked. The strike sent her flying. Her body smashed against the wall. Red in pain, ahem. Seeing the blow hadn't finished Red, Javier praised quietly. In an instant she strengthened her arm to block. Definitely not an ordinary child. Increase the power. Javier looked toward where Red had been thrown. She had disappeared. When? Javier advanced. Where did she vanish to? Behind the wall, Red was being silenced by Green with a hand over her mouth. She was astonished. "How are you here?" Green cheerfully replied. "I heard you were in danger, so I came to save you." While Green treated Red's wounds, Red grumbled, "Suddenly appearing and claiming to save me." Green calmly said, "If you continue, you'll die." Red stubbornly shrugged Green's hand off. "Look, Green, other things fine, but don't interfere in my fights. Live or die is my business. I'll fight to the end." Green still gently said, "Red, if you die, our game ends." Red blinked. "Huh?" She treated Red while saying, "You wouldn't want to spoil the fun, right?" Red agreed, "I still want to stay on Earth." Hearing that, Green cheerfully proposed, "Cooperate, Red. How about we escape together?" Seeing Green so sincere, Red was startled too. She curled her lip. "He's strong. Wherever he runs, he'll be caught." Green wasn't alarmed. "Let him handle it?" Red asked about him. Green nodded affirmatively. "Yes. I'm not alone." At that moment, UGT had somehow appeared behind Javier. Javier immediately noticed and turned, asking, "Who are you?" He sighed once, then looked up and answered briefly, "Protector." The scene shifted to a strange place where a blonde girl was inhaling a scent. Oddly, it smelled like green but wasn't. GT looked down at the girl below. Gold cheerfully asked, "Who are you, Uncle?" The little girl wondered, "You're not a bad person, right?" On the battlefield, UGT was facing Javier. He questioned again, "Protector?" "That girl looks like she doesn't need anyone to protect her." From her hiding spot, Red peeked out to watch the battle. "Is that the guy you mentioned?" Green hurriedly pulled her back. "It's dangerous. Come back quickly." Meanwhile, UGT made a proposal. Explaining everything is complicated, but let's stop this here. Javier suspiciously asked, "Stop what?" He stepped forward, suddenly appearing and babbling. "What is this about? This matter can't be ignored. That brat crossed the line." UGT objected that she hadn't killed anyone yet. Javier, angry, said, "Don't mess with me." UGT didn't care. He continued, "The girl's not going to be here long. I'm serious, so can you let her go?" Javier slowly sheathed his sword. "You think I'll back down because of words like that?" He took an offensive stance. "This area is under SAN's control." Javier growled, "I'm a SAN investigator. I'll arrest both the girl and you, the one who calls himself her protector." He swung his sword and a massive mana burst released, lighting up the air. The energy destroyed everything in its path. The surrounding rock shattered. Javier finished his attack and stood proudly in place. Javier turned away with contempt. "If you're with that monster, then you should be able to take this hit." Unexpectedly, UGT still appeared. Not a scratch on him. A mysterious energy enveloped him. Infuriating. He was annoyed. "Rumor says he's an S-rank 8 but stubborn." "Huh?" Javier turned back. "When did he circle behind us?" He tried to use his sword skill again, but before he finished, the arm and sword were severed. The strike came so fast Javier couldn't even register that an arm had been cut off. UGT descended from the air. He swept past Javier, who was slumped on the ground, and said, "Listen up. Today will be the worst day of your life." UGT's eyes were furious. Each word struck into his head. "You unfortunately encountered an unexpected monster while pursuing that girl." He leaned close and whispered, "And you couldn't handle its attacks, resulting in the loss of both hands and your sight. In the end, you let both targets slip away." UGT placed the sword at Javier's eye level and continued to threaten. "Finally, you'll forget all of this." His hands gripped Javier's head. Javier begged in fear, "Wait." Not making him wait, the sword decisively slashed. UGT knew SAN had S-rank healers so hands or eyes could be restored, but fear, once ingrained, cannot be erased. Blood still stained the ground. fear proved effective as seen here, and UGT used it well. He didn't finish Javier off but left him alive after blinding him. He turned back and the young dragon called the Night Hunter was not immune to this either. Red witnessed everything, her body frozen as she stammered, "Hey, Green, what exactly is that thing?" Green corrected her, "He's not a monster, he's human." Red scoffed, "Ha, if he's human then I'm just a goddamn lizard." UGT stepped toward the two and declared, "Red Dragon, you'll live in my house under my protection." He persuaded her. "I'll give you enough freedom and will support you if you need anything." UGT's face darkened as a warning. "But if you leave this protection..." Suddenly Green loudly called, "Uncle." She hugged Red. "I think Red's in shock. Let me calm her down and explain later. Okay?" Red was surprised by her action. "What are you doing to me?" Green winked at UGT. Receiving the signal, he fell silent for a moment. Then GT turned away. "From now on your name is Yoriam. Remember that. I'll explain everything later." Red mumbled Yoriam back. UGT looked up at the sky. Behind them came the argument between Red and Green. Green praised Red, "You've grown since last time," and Red angrily snapped, "I'm not in the mood for jokes right now." UGT was reporting to someone. "The situation has been handled, my lord." At the same time, deep in the Amazon rainforest, another UGT received a signal that Gold was happily playing ahead. UGT praised, "Well done." Speaking to a clone, "I'll finish up here and return immediately." Before starting the mission, UGT had carefully considered that the girl was utterly feral, so a mere duplicate would struggle to persuade her. Luckily, UBOM was sent along. Gold ran up and sat in front of him. The girl asked who he had been talking to, and UGT denied it. "Nothing." Gold mischievously, "EW, your smartwatch is so weird. Does it narrate for itself?" The golden dragon, like all golden dragons, loved attention. She had spent a third of her 6 lives as a star. Those who shone brightest were also the dragons who caused the most destruction. The crowd's love, though glamorous, has a dark side. That's probably why she ended up in this wilderness. Gold was still absorbed playing with UGT's smartwatch. Uncle, this is so cool." The girl excitedly waved her wings, and the screen projected into the air with a super sharp image. "I've never seen anything like this before." UGT asked, "Why are you here?" Gold flinched. "Huh?" UGT leaned back and continued, "If you want entertainment, you should live with humans. There are only wild beasts and insects here." Gold suddenly jumped up. "How did you know?" UGT answered briefly. "The green dragon mentioned it." Gold excitedly ran around UGT. "Oh, that explains why I smelled her on you. So you know Green?" UGT said in a low voice. "Gold, I'm asking you directly. Now, are you afraid of humans?" The girl froze. Gold, embarrassed, said, "Oh, it's not that I'm afraid of humans. I used to live with them." The girl recounted sadly that people would look at her with strange eyes. Someone kept following her, which was kind of scary, something like that. Gold leaned back against UGT and gave a wry smile. "Well, that's that." UGT changed the subject. "Do you like bread?" Gold was about to refuse. "Bread? I'm a dragon. I don't need to eat." UGT snapped his fingers. A black streak appeared in the sky, the shallowest layer of the void, a pocket dimension that could swallow a city. From its strange arms reached out with a bag of bread delivered straight to UGT. Gold gaped in amazement. "Wow." The girl peered curiously. "Huh, it's really bread." Gold happily cried out. "It's bread." Her eyes sparkled at the aroma. "You're really giving this to me?" UGT held out his hand. "Yes." Gold was still stunned to see so many pastries inside. "Wow, you have so many donuts and even blueberry custard tarts." UGT began to persuade her. "Gold, don't stay here. Come with me. There you'll have friends, you'll be safe, and if you like entertainment you can join that field." Gold was munching bread while listening to GT speak. The girl licked her lips, still cautious. But her mother told her never to follow strangers. UGT delivered his final move. "I'll buy you pastries." At that one line, Gold seemed to have found the light of truth in her life. A morning came again to the city where UGT lived. The building he resided in welcomed new members today. Red leaned against the railing, gazing at the peaceful scene outside. A cigarette between her lips, Red Shinthu recalled. The events of yesterday had unfolded too quickly, from the battle with Javier to the appearance of UGT. These things irritated Red. Inside the house behind the glass, Green looked out. Seeing Red lost in thought, Green was about to call out, "Red," when familiar footsteps sounded from outside. UGT returned with Gold. The girl held a bag of bread and looked around in awe. "So you live here?" Oh, and just to be clear, I'm absolutely not following you for the bread, Gold babbled on. That sausage roll was really good, better than premium escalopa sausage. As she spoke, she popped another pastry into her mouth. Suddenly Gold froze, startled and amazed. Satisfaction lit Gold's face. What is this macaron? Crispy outside yet impossibly soft inside. This is the taste of heaven. Seeing Yu Ji-tae return, Green was delighted. You're back, he replied. Yeah. Gold, who had been eating, only then noticed Green and excitedly shouted, Wow, Green. Green replied gently, Long time no see, Gold. The girl launched herself into Green's arms. It's been so long. I missed you so much. Green carefully ruffled Gold's head. You look prettier than the last time I saw you, Gold. The two happily danced around the house. Gold took the chance to ask, When did you get here? Do you live here alone with him? Green cheerfully explained, I haven't been here long either. Red's over there. Will you go say hi later? A clone of Yu Ji-tae appeared and bowed respectfully. My lord, you're home. Yu Ji-tae praised, Yes, you've worked hard. I'll call you back soon. Return to your post. The clone obeyed. Red walked in from outside. Yu Ji-tae saw her too. She felt awkward, clicked her tongue, and avoided Yu Ji-tae's gaze. Gold, like a child, was overjoyed to see Red and didn't notice the atmosphere around her. Flitting like a little bird, Gold hopped around Red chirping nonstop. You okay? That smell. Are you smoking again? The Red clan really loves unhealthy habits. Red, annoyed, grabbed the girl's beak. Kiddo. Red snapped. You're provoking me. Stop babbling before I tear you apart. Understood? Gold felt hurt. Red is violent. After a while, Yu Ji-tae settled things down. The three sat in chairs opposite him, and he began to ask how old they were. They answered in turn. Green replied, I'm 20. Gold happily, I'm 10. When it came to Red, she refused to answer, so Yu Ji-tae answered for her. Yeoriam is 16. Gold flipped her hair proudly, showing off her plump form. Dragons mature faster than humans, so don't treat me like a child. Red stared at the girl. Showing off? Gold wondered. Earlier you called Red Yeoriam. Is that a nickname? Red raised an eyebrow. I don't know. Green quickly explained. That's the name he gave her. I'm Bum. Gold remained curious. We haven't even had our coming-of-age rituals. How could he name you? Besides, he wouldn't pick something so simple. The girl continued chatting with Green. Then I must be Jia Yule, Yu Ji-tae confirmed. That's right, your name from now on is Yu Jia-ul. And when it is born, it will be Jio-ul. Gold looked down at the necklace she wore on her chest. Gold continued asking, Do you know that's Blue's egg? Yu Ji-tae even knew the details. Yes, it's a polymorph, right? It's about to hatch, so be careful. The girl marveled at Yu Ji-tae's profundity. Wow, you're human, but there truly isn't anything you don't know. How do you know so much? Yu Ji-tae coldly replied, That's none of your concern. Yu Ji-tae propped his hand on his chin and announced seriously, Since everyone is here, I'll make it clear once more. From now on you only need to follow one rule. Play freely but don't leave the fence. Gold asked what he meant. Yu Ji-tae explained it meant don't disappear from my sight. GT clarified that all your games will be managed by me and only take place where I can see them. Red sighed. Honestly, you sound like a dictator. As soon as she finished, Red realized the two beside her were staring at her. What's the problem? Green stood up from her chair. Understood, so staying nearby is fine, right? She looked like a gentle mother. Hey kids, want to go out for a bit? We live here now, so we need to do paperwork and buy necessities. At that, Gold's eyes lit up with excitement. Oh, sounds fun. Red curled her lip with a wicked face. We have no money to shop, but robbing some sounds fun too. Yu Ji-tae tossed a wallet to Green. Don't worry about money, just go and have fun. She took the wallet happily and asked politely, Thank you. Is there a spending limit? Yu Ji-tae turned his back and left, leaving just a few words. Take as much as you want. With Yu Ji-tae's approval, the three began sweeping the shopping malls. By evening, Yu Ji-tae's notification board lit up with a stream of messages deducting money from the account. The three had bought a lot. Shopping bags piled up inside the house. Green stepped forward to return the wallet to Yu Ji-tae. Feeling shy, she sat down beside him, apologizing. Sorry, we may have overspent. Actually, I wanted to buy clothes for you too, but the card had expired, so I couldn't. Yu Ji-tae took the wallet back. It's fine. Gold's voice rang out. My lord, look at me. Yu Ji-tae looked up at the call. The girl had on a bunch of the items they had bought, from ethereal muse styles to streetwear to simple outfits. Pretty, right? There were so many nice things I bought a ton. The girl held up the smartwatch she bought. I bought this too. Just like yours. Yujite praised simply. It suits you. Gold blushed happily. Thank you, you're the best. Red saw the two getting cozy. Her face grew thoughtful. She also raised the hand wearing a watch and shyly asked, was this bought for me? Then she scratched her head and picked up a sword. And this too. My sword was broken and unusable. Yujite inquired, do you like it? I bought a good quality one. Red turned away. At least it's not junk. Gold ran out of the changing room carrying several bags. I also bought clothes for you. Sis, try them on. Red, annoyed, snapped, who said you're my sister? I don't need them. Green gently told Yujite. Yeoriam just isn't good at showing it. She's really grateful. Yujite relaxed. That's good then. He turned and asked Bioam. Didn't you buy anything? Why aren't you holding anything? Green pointed to the item on the table. I did buy something that's on the dining table. Yujite was puzzled. A potted plant? On the table was a small pot with a flower that hadn't bloomed yet. Green stepped up to the table. Planting makes people happy, you know. Yujite still didn't get what she meant. She took the pot gently and said, because it will bloom. Green cradled the pot. So it will be very memorable, right? Her eyes sparkled forever. Suddenly she remembered something. Green turned and said, oh right, I'm curious about something. Yujite asked, what is it? She wondered about Yujite's conditions. But you know, playing with us isn't just about fun and food. Is there a way to fully enjoy the games within the fence you set? Yujite, as if prepared for the question, immediately answered, of course. He produced a sheet of paper. Do you want to try going to school? Outside, Gold and Red had overheard the whole conversation and both lunged forward. Gold curiously, school? Night had fallen. They're back now. Red stretched. Oh my, that interview was one thing, but why did it take so long? Green glanced around. Huh, he's not here? Gold suddenly said, hey sis, I just thought of something terrible. What if you two pass but I'm the only one who fails? Would I be left alone and unable to enter the lair? Red snapped. This kid keeps saying unlucky things. Someone shove a bread roll into that pig's mouth. Gold sulked, so I'm gonna fail because I'm a pig? Yujite entered from behind. Good job on the interview, everyone. Hearing that, Gold leapt into his arms and burst into tears. My lord, I probably failed. He comforted her. Don't worry, you didn't fail. Green asked, where did you come back from? Yujite produced a paper bag. I just went to pack this. The girl next to him sniffed the aroma. It smells so good. What is it? He replied, something you like. Gold's eyes lit up. Bread or macaron? Yujite smiled mysteriously. It's even better than that. Tonight's dinner, he was honored to host a special guest. Please welcome the global pop star, Baby Yellow. Hey everyone. Thanks for inviting me to such a wonderful playground. The MC asked BY if she understood tonight's theme. Gold answered, of course. This is where she gets to taste delicious food. She's really looking forward to it. The MC introduced. Exactly. Tonight's show will feature top chefs preparing the guests' favorite dishes on the spot. What does BY like best? Rumor has it you survive on morning dew alone. Is that true? Gold laughed. Oh, she's human too. Who only eats dew to survive? Gold thought. Let's see, my favorite dish is. An image of sauced fried chicken with cola appeared instantly. Gold craved the enticing aroma. This must be delicious. Red asked, hey, I heard this is your favorite dish? What's wrong? First time seeing it? The girl said happily. Yeah, it will be your favorite from now on. Red wondered, it's just fried chicken, what the fuss about? Green chimed in, won't you join them? Yujite declined, you guys go ahead and eat. She blushed shyly and pleaded, eat with us. On the balcony, the sky had darkened. The space was enveloped in stillness. Yujite stood there taking a call. Hello? On the other end, hello. They were calling from the Lair Administration Office. Are you Yujite, guardian of UBOM? He answered, yes, that's right. They informed him, there's a small issue regarding the recent interview. What's the issue? Has the guardian heard you bomb story? You haven't heard? UBOM scored a perfect mark in the entrance interview. The judges unanimously praised him, so they want to propose BOM as the valedictorian to deliver the oath at this year's entrance ceremony. Yujite asked if they had proposed it directly to BOM. They replied, yes, the judges were so excited they asked the candidate right away. The problem is BOM refused. This is a rare opportunity, so if the guardian can persuade BOM. Yujite refused. Sorry, but I don't want to. If that's her decision, it's mine too. Anyway, he hung up. Just then Red came out from inside. So that call was about her? Yujite reminded her. Call her BOM. She retorted with concern. What? The name BOM gives me goosebumps. Old man, are you still into playing pretend family? He annoyedly asked, what are you trying to say? Red looked at the cigarette in her hand, pondering something. Why did you bring them into the lair? She asked again. Yujite stared into the distance. To let you girls do as you please. Red bluntly said she wanted to fight. Are there a lot of strong kids there? If they've gathered elite fighters from around the world. Certainly. But they're still just kids, he laughed. You're a kid too. Red furrowed her brow, her gaze sharpening. She decisively tossed the cigarette out onto the balcony. Have a proper fight with me. I know you're strong, but I want to know exactly how strong. If you see me as a lower rank, then show me your true power. Yujite looked at Red with a solemn expression and said nothing. Come on, go eat the chicken. Red snapped, you're such a bore. He coldly said, fine. She got angrier. Fine what? Get lost. Gold offered a piece of chicken. Try a bite, sis. Red was boiling mad. I told you I wouldn't eat. Go eat it yourself. But her hand still took the chicken, and she bit into it. Red's eyes widened in astonishment. She praised the chicken. It's so tasty, truly wonderful. Lair is an educational academy built on a colossal floating island, Heitling, that flies around the world. It trains children who possess Gaho and Nei special abilities. But students at Lair are mostly wealthy heirs, aristocrats, or those selected by elite academies. Public opinion criticizes that this place is only for the privileged. Gold exclaimed, wow, this really is a top school. I heard only rich kids or nobility get in. The girl gushed, is he secretly some wealthy heir? He didn't scold us for splurging. Green agreed, it's hard to say, looks like it, from his appearance. She brightened up. Anyway, we're lucky we all passed. Gold happily jumped. Yeah, I thought I was the only one who failed. So happy. The uniforms are nice too. The girl paused. But where are Yeo Riem and Yujite? Green stroked her chin thoughtfully. Yeo Riem went to take a practical exam at Tanlong School. He went as her guardian. Gold blinked in puzzlement. Guardian? At Lair, to monitor inexperienced potential students, adults from agencies or families accompany them as guardians. That makes sense. If Yeo Riem wasn't supervised, she'd be dangerous. But does Yeo Riem have to retake the exam? Green replied, I heard it's a practice match between reserve students. Gold excitedly, then we have to go watch. Green said casually, ask and they won't let us. Gold sadly, oh, why's that? Green forced a smile, hesitating slightly, because if we all go it'll cause a ruckus. Suddenly someone spoke up, is that a new student this year? Which family are they from? Tanlong School. The students are engaged in fierce competition. The crowd erupted with loud, excited cheers. GT sat quietly amid the noisy crowd. What if they get hit? Do exactly what you've been taught, just follow through. Wai Yuan curled his lip in a grim smile. Haha. Parents, I understand your feelings. Please stay calm. If you act like that, the reserve students will only get more nervous. Among the spectators someone asked, are you? Ah, belated introduction. I am the homeroom professor of Tanlong. Wai Yuan, pleased to collaborate. The audience chorused, yes, we look forward to your help. The crowd buzzed. Wow, he's so handsome and refined. And his personality seems good too. Someone objected, personality good? He's skilled, wealthy, and moreover he's a war hero. He fell silent and glanced around. Contestant number 124 and number 7. Enter. After the announcement, Red clenched the wooden sword tightly. She walked in with a bored, disdainful air, slowly advancing, so utterly fed up. The opponent frowned at her, eyes full of suspicion. Red scowled and grimaced. I'll run away from home, you'll see. The two stood motionless, facing each other on the arena floor. Below the stands, people kept gossiping. Hey, who do you bet will win, Sofia Vorkova or the red-haired kid? A friend beside them winked and quickly judged. They're both talented, but I prefer the redhead. The guy next to him snapped. I asked who you think will win. He smiled faintly, raised an eyebrow, glanced over and said quietly, of course Sofia. People looked up at Sofia's cold, indifferent demeanor in the stands in awe. She used to be a member of RIL before entering the academy. Speaking of RIL, it's Russia's monster hunting special forces, famed for their exploits in the Great War. They were especially notorious for a training program so brutal it was like torture. At that moment outside the barrier, Mikhailer, with a fierce face, stared at the stands and shouted loudly. Everyone has high expectations for that one, Sofia. He clung to the railing, wildly cheering. You can do it, you'll definitely win. A security team hurriedly appeared behind Mikhailer and warned, Mr. Mikhailer, guardians are not permitted to be here. Sophia heard the commotion outside the arena and was momentarily speechless. Suddenly a clear, taunting voice pulled her back to the moment. "Your dad worries about you too much?" Ream said arrogantly and confidently, sword in hand, mocking Sophia. "It's not too late to retreat back to your daddy." The kid clinging to his father's coat said, No, you're a girl, so you're the one clinging to your dad, right?" Sophia paid no mind to Ream's taunt and calmly retorted in a way that surprised her. "You should shut up." Sophia's face darkened, her eyes blazing threateningly at Ream. "Do you want to die for real?" Seeing her expression take the challenge, Ream grew excited and said, "Fine, if you're so eager then come on and try." The two friends seated below felt a chill at the sight of the two girls. Creepy, truly real people. He widened his eyes in horror, but the red-haired kid wasn't to be underestimated either. Jite sat beside them, seriously observing the match. An announcement sounded. "Contestants 124 and 7, take your places." Upon hearing the referee's voice, Sophia clenched both hands into a ready fighting stance. Ream was much more relaxed, as if she was certain she'd win this match. With the echoing whistle and the referee's call, the match began. As soon as the words ended, Sophia shot forward like lightning, attacking Ream and catching her completely off guard. But immediately she reflexively stepped back, using her arm to block Sophia's strike. She grabbed Sophia's fist firmly and smiled slightly, assessing, "Not bad speed." Then, with her other hand, Ream violently swung the wooden sword in a sudden chop toward her. Sophia nimbly dodged the blow. At the same time she spun and delivered a strong kick to Ream's temple, surprising her. Ream couldn't avoid that attack in time and could only use her arm to absorb it and lean backward. As she leaned back to evade, Sophia's strike quickly followed. Ream screamed in horror, "My shirt!" Ream stumbled backward, furious, shouting at her. "I just bought this not long ago. That's outrageous." Sophia paid no mind. Her legs were still driving power from that strike. Her body felt light on the arena floor as she subtly shifted her feet. Without giving Ream time to recover, Sophia quickly gathered momentum and lunged back into position. Sophia unleashed a series of extremely powerful, skillful punches. Yet Ream managed to dodge each one with effortless, fluid movements. While evading, her gaze fell on the sturdy protective netting surrounding the arena. Ream then pushed off hard against the protective netting. Using that momentum, she spun around to face Sophia's incoming strike head-on. She grinned with exhilaration, raised the wooden sword high, and brought it down with force. Sophia reacted instantly, using both arms to absorb Ream's blow. But the strike carried tremendous force. The bones in Sophia's forearms took the impact and began to crack and break. Sophia felt the pain in both arms. Her face contorted and she let out a soft cry. Ream grew more exhilarated the harder she struck. Seeing Sophia endure the pain pulled her deeper into the fight. Both stood motionless on the arena for a moment, rendering the space silent. Then Ream seemed to teleport and instantly appeared behind Sophia. To Sophia's astonishment, Ream taunted in a jeering tone. "Hey, yellow-banged kid." Her face showed pure excitement. Her fist seemed to gather all her strength as she mocked, "Fighting is fun, isn't it?" Ream's fist whizzed and slammed hard into Sophia's face. She took the blow full on, her body flying backward and smashing into the barrier. When Sophia regained herself, she spat out a mouthful of blood. At that moment, the tip of the wooden sword was pressed straight against Sophia's forehead, leaving her utterly stunned. Ream stood in front holding the wooden sword, looking at her with full confidence. With the announcement sounding, "It's over, contestant 124 wins." As soon as the referee's announcement ended, Ream covered her mouth and laughed mockingly. "You were all show earlier and now you're a pile of trash." Sophia sat dazed and furious at the result, staring wide-eyed as Ream walked away. Ream turned and left, muttering non-stop, "What global elite? Just a bunch of garbage." Mikhailer and the medics rushed over to Sophia. The two friends below couldn't help but be horrified. Sophia lost miserably, but the match seemed evenly matched at first. The friend beside him, hearing that, couldn't believe it and thought silently, "Evenly matched my foot. The redhead barely even got scratched, she's just playing." The discussions among those under the arena spread wider. "The redhead that strong? I think Sophia was always trash." Sophia sat motionless on the arena floor receiving treatment as she heard the chatter. She was only a backup member of RIL for show. Weak skills but pretty, so she wears the emblem. Sophia clenched her teeth, lowering her face under the criticism and ridicule of those around her. A medic informed Mikhailer of her condition. "We've given first aid. She'll be fine. Both arms are fractured." Her limp hands suddenly clenched tightly in sheer unwillingness. Sophia's voice rang out, trembling with anger. "It's not over, I'll be fine." Mikhailo saw her like this and couldn't help but smile softly. He stepped closer and gently reassured her. "Sophia, you did your best. It's a pity you weren't strong enough to defeat that opponent." His voice remained gentle and steady. "I'm not disappointed. Meeting an opponent like that is a blessing." But Mikhailo didn't notice Sophia's expression shifting. She stared at the dagger at his side with a terrifying look. Mikhailo continued soothing her softly. "Failure will forge you into a stronger person." He kept his eyes closed as he lectured. "I'll report to the superiors." At that moment, a medic's puzzled voice called out, "Guardian, where's the contestant?" Both were utterly surprised by Sophia's action. She grabbed the dagger, furious and muttering that she hadn't given up, only lost momentum. The dagger in her hand suddenly flashed, emitting a light that spread around. Her voice rang out, startling Yeoriam as well. "It's not over. Where do you think you're running off to?" As she turned back, a sharp pain stabbed Yeoriam's back. Sophia thrust the dagger hard into Yeoriam's back, shocking her. Ujite's face darkened when he saw this unexpected scene. Yeoriam's eyes bulged at Sophia's vicious act. She ground her teeth and shouted. Her face bulged with veins as she screamed hoarsely, "Die, you bitch!" Everyone present froze at Sophia's sudden action. Even the teachers observing wore looks of horror. Ujite stared gloomily and sullenly at the arena floor. Sophia's strike seemed to channel all her strength into it, blasting both of them off the arena. Both lost momentum and immediately slammed hard onto the ground. Yeoriam clutched the blood-soaked dagger embedded in her inside. She looked at her wound with a numb lack of pain and laughed loudly. "So you wanted to fight, huh?" But then she suddenly flinched and looked toward Sophia. She went mad and lunged straight at Yeoriam, wildly attacking. Yeoriam nimbly dodged Sophia's strike, causing her to skid to one side. Immediately after, she grabbed a handful of her hair and pulled it back. Sophia cried out, eyes wide, in pain from having her hair yanked. Yeoriam didn't give her a chance to recover and punched hard. "You're as good as dead." Her fist struck Sophia squarely in the face. Yeoriam kept landing blows on Sophia until she was spattered with blood. Everyone who saw this screamed in horror. Won't anyone stop her? With one final blow, Yeoriam struck so hard that Sophia was flung toward the rows of seats behind them, shocking everyone. Sophia's face swelled from the beating and she lost consciousness. Yeoriam drew the dagger from her and stepped closer to her. "It's not over yet." Her eyes turned red and savage as she advanced. "I'll give you back exactly what you did to me." Suddenly an arm shot out and seized the wrist holding the dagger. Mikhailo, face fierce, gripped her hand and shouted, "That's enough. Stop this at once." Yeoriam, restrained by him, grew furious. "Let go of me." Seeing the chaos, Wei Yuan immediately shouted orders. "Mages, form a combat space now, pause the interviews." The mages heard him and instantly joined together to create the combat space. Everyone divided into zones and combined their efforts to shape the space around the two. A circle of runes appeared around Mikhailo and Yeoriam, the combat space engaged. He threw the dagger forcefully to the floor and shouted, "Why did you target my daughter like that?" Yeoriam stood her ground unafraid and argued back at Mikhailo, saying the other girl provoked her first. He snapped, "So you planned to kill Sophia?" Hearing his hysterical tone, she flew into a rage. "Should I have just stood there and let her beat me?" Mikhailo grew angrier, saying with your skill you only needed to subdue her lightly. Yeoriam looked extremely angry, her voice rising. "What nonsense is that? Go take care of your daughter." Wei Yuan stepped in calmly with a conciliatory tone. "Everyone, calm down. The atmosphere is getting too tense." He smiled faintly and comforted Yeoriam. "Besides, for student Yeoriam, our teacher has already gone to find your guardian. Please behave and get your wounds treated first." On hearing that, she spun toward him, still fuming, and snapped. "Behave? I'm still furious." Wei Yuan, unfazed by her attitude, soothed gently. "I understand how Yeoriam feels, but we can't let the situation worsen." Yeoriam heard that and looked somewhat bewildered and puzzled. Seeing her calm, Wei Yuan stepped closer to explain. "If you keep causing trouble, I won't be able to protect a student like you. Your entire clan could be implicated." Then he leaned in and quietly reminded her. "The Yu clan, right? It's not just you, Yeoriam." His words made her recall the bright faces of gold and green. Yeoriam's expression fell, filled with resignation and fear. If others will be affected because of her, she won't be at ease, right? Wei Yuan had hit her weak spot. He smiled faintly with satisfaction. "So wait for the guardian to arrive." Suddenly, a low voice sounded beside them. No need to look any further. Ujite stepped in and introduced himself, surprising him. I am Ujite, the guardian of that kid. His face was tired and cold as he warned, don't force an injured student. Come talk to me. Both of them were stunned by his unexpected arrival. Seeing Ujite made Yeoriam even more withdrawn. She pressed her lips tightly and stayed silent. Outside, the large building stood in the center of the campus. Wai Yuan slowly brought tea to introduce to Mikhailer and Ujite. This is a famous Taiwanese oolong. I wonder if it suits your taste. He smiled gently, trying to reconcile the two. They say tea calms the spirit. Wai Yuan watched Ujite carefully and cautiously. Ujite from the Yu clan? Judging by how easily he disrupted the combat space, he must be a high-tier vein core. He pondered Ujite's cold, distant expression. I've never heard of this clan. This needs investigation. Wai Yuan had sat silently between them from the start. When he took a seat, his tone was a bit awkward. I don't know where to begin. His opening words aimed to soothe both sides. First, I'm sorry about what happened to both of you. Mikhailer still looked angry and glared seriously, while Ujite stared at him coldly and impassively. He recalled Sophia's swollen face and breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, neither was seriously injured, and he heard Yeoriam has been discharged. Wai Yuan lifted his cup toward them in a conciliatory gesture and explained. So there's no need to escalate. We're going to meet often at Qinglong Institute. Let's end this peacefully here. If you agree, I'll handle the rest. Mikhailer's expression was extremely serious but somewhat softened. He sighed, lowering his gaze before speaking. The cause came from my daughter first, so I apologize. I am Mikhailer, Sophia's guardian. He apologized sincerely and kept explaining that Sophia was still young and immature, and in this matter she let emotion override reason. Before Mikhailer finished, Ujite cut him off. I do not accept a guardian's apology. Hearing that, Mikhailer immediately erupted and stood up, but Ujite remained unfazed and continued. What meaning do apologies from others have? He didn't understand Ujite's implication and couldn't help issuing a threat. Stubborn? We're both guardians. Accept the apology and end this. Don't you know what organization I belong to? Ujite stayed calm and stared at him, asking, we're not the same. Do people in your position apologize like that? Mikhailer snapped angrily. Do you want me to bring the injured child here to apologize? Upon hearing that, he immediately complied without hesitation. Mikhailer roared in fury. This guy really is. Sitting between them, Wai Yuan hurried to mediate. Calm down, guardian. Ujite continued his point. I'm not here for that girl. I just want to know why you didn't stop the child from drawing her sword and running in at that moment. Mikhailer, hearing the questioning suspicion, darkened and yelled that it was an unexpected situation. Upon hearing his answer, Ujite's cold remark echoed through the room. Unexpected? That's a flimsy excuse. Mikhailer angrily stepped toward him at Ujite's next words. Blaming children for his own incompetence. Aren't you ashamed? He grabbed Ujite's collar and said in a low voice. Look, friend, there's a limit to civil discourse. His eyes turned blue as a bluish light shimmered between them. Mikhailer's tone carried an intense threat. Do you intend to drag the real organization into this petty fight? Mikhailer's face grew ferocious with anger. It's just an obscure clan. Suddenly a chill ran through Mikhailer, filling him with dread. Mikhailer immediately stepped back, and the boy's voice rang gently. An iron-bladed knife, that was close, dangerous. He stared at the boy in horror, wondering since when. Mikhailer looked in shock at the dagger that was no longer at his feet and at Ujite's casual remark. The sheath was so loose, no wonder the child secretly pulled it out without noticing. He stared at the sheath in astonishment. I had already heightened my senses to the limit, yet suddenly the boy's cold voice whispered his name. Mikhailer. Ujite stepped behind him and lightly tapped his back, whispering, travel the crowded route. Avoid secluded places. That offhand warning and the dagger plunged into the table left Mikhailer frozen in terror. His face drained completely as he sensed the killing intent coming from the boy. Ujite quickly grabbed the vest from the chair and left the meeting room. I'm leaving once this is done. After he departed, the two others in the room remained motionless in shock. Wai Yuan, face stunned, suddenly let out an involuntary laugh. As Ujite left the room, he noticed Yeoriam standing outside. She stood there with a sulky face, looking extremely worried. He turned to leave but couldn't help asking with concern, Are you all right? Yeoriam replied, just a light hit, and the Red Clan has great vitality. His soft words made her fall into thought. Then that's fortunate. She then stepped forward to ask, Do you think I was wrong? Before Ujite could answer, Yeoriam confessed her feelings to him. I just feel like everything that happened was my fault. She blushed slightly, nervously rubbing her hair. It's kind of unfair, but right now I wish I'd been more mature then. Yujite immediately cut off her thoughts, surprising her. No, you did very well. Then Yujite turned to her seriously and advised, next time, remember to kill it where no one can see. Yeoriam stood motionless as he walked away. Her face lit up with happiness, and she breathed out a long, relieved sigh. She slowly followed Yujite, exclaiming, Did you really tell me to do that? Don't regret it later. Yujite strode down the corridor with Red and told Yeoriam to go home and pack. She wondered why. Where do I have to go? Yujite said as they walked, You'll be moving to live in Lair. Oh, you mean living in the dormitory? She couldn't help picturing the girl's excited face like a newly hatched chick. Ha ha. Suddenly a voice made them both turn their heads. Guardian Yujite? Wai Yuan smiled, taking his hand. May I speak with you for a moment? He replied bluntly, I thought we had already settled everything. Wai Yuan said, Yes, I know. But there's an important matter concerning student Yeoriam that she should hear as well. Red shrugged and didn't care. I don't want to hear any preachy lectures. Wai Yuan laughed. Haha, it's not a lecture. It's a beneficial proposal. She was surprised by the question. Yeoriam, would you like to be the freshman representative of Qinglong Institute? Red asked again. Freshman representative? He described her image as the serious student representative. That's right, you'll be the face of the academy, big scholarship, rare treasures, and even media exposure. Yujite asked suspiciously. This proposal is sudden. Does the professor have the authority to decide this? Wai Yuan replied, Don't worry. I'm close with Vice Principal Ma Nam-jun. He frowned. Consider it carefully, Mr. Yujite. Faced with Wai Yuan's leading words, Yujite was silent. This opportunity is rare. Others won't get a chance like this. He thought to himself, of course they're close. Because Ma Nam-jun is one of the Ma people. Ma people differ from the superhumans blessed by grace. They are those who accepted the abyss. Bloodthirsty, murderous, and filled with dark lust. That is their nature. The world nearly perished because of these monsters. In Lives 1 and 2, Yujite also lost something important to them. So when he first saw that professor appear, he had thought about dealing with that Ma man thousands of times. But in the end, he held back. Jite thought inwardly that this man deserved a more painful death. He said, I understand your meaning. Yujite turned to look at Red. But the important opinion is the student's. I'm only the guardian. He stepped to Red's side. Haha, yes, everything depends on her decision. Wai Yuan put a hand on her shoulder. Yeoriam, many changes are coming to Qinglong Institute, especially at the year-end event. I want you to lead the student team. Then he took Red's hand and pleaded, help the professor shape a future for the academy. Will you? She calmly sighed and replied, no. Wai Yuan did not believe it. No? Did I hear wrong? Red said irritably, I heard you clearly. Then she turned to Yujite and said, let's go home. I told you to prepare to move. He asked in surprise, wait, then why did you come to the interview? Red replied, I was bored, just lying in my room all day. Wai Yuan, sweating, asked further, and then? She yawned casually. I was bored, so I wanted to mess around a bit for fun. Wai Yuan's thread of reason snapped, and he forced himself to contain his anger. Then Wai Yuan suddenly noticed and said, Yeoriam, look down there. Red and Yujite glanced down and saw a crowd of reporters gathered in the courtyard. What's that? Those people, are they reporters? Wai Yuan explained. They're reporters from everywhere, here to hear our statement about today's incident. With one sentence from me, he clasped his hands behind his back, implying to them that he could decide her future at Lair. Understand? But she quickly ignored him and walked on. I don't get it. Goodbye. Wai Yuan could only laugh. Haha. He watched silently as their backs disappeared. Then he dropped the friendly face he'd worn earlier. Don't let yourself regret this later. The reporters were startled. Oh, she's coming out. Could that be Yeoriam? The reporters swarmed forward. I'm a reporter from CT. Please tell us your view on the stabbing 2 hours ago here. From NSS. May I ask if you have any conflict with Sofia Vorkova? Red was taken aback by the lights, microphones, and questions thrust at her. Do you want to say anything about this incident? She said, what is wrong with you people? A reporter raised a mic and said, your interview segment is going viral in South Korea. Did you cause this disturbance to draw attention to your clan? Questions kept coming non-stop, making her angry. Yeoriam, please give us a short comment. Why did you apply to Qinglong Institute? What are you planning to do here? Seeing this, Yujite spoke up, don't make things difficult for an injured child. Red frowned then smiled. Fine. If you want to hear, I'll answer. She snatched the mic, surprising the reporter. What am I doing here? Then Red laughed and spoke directly into the mic in words unfit for broadcast. Elsewhere the sky was clear and the sun golden. At the Lair dormitory, Gold squealed with delight, wow. The girl jumped up for joy, Mom. It's so big. Gold hurried upstairs. Are we really going to live here? The nicest room is mine? Red said to the girl, hey, the biggest room is mine. The girl opened the door. Gold's eyes lit up, sparkling in surprise. She ran into the room exclaiming, what is this? This room is amazing. Gold ran around the room. A huge bed, the latest TV model, and sunlight flooding in. Gold stood at the balcony door. It's okay. I'll take this room then. Suddenly Red stood behind her and grinned. This balcony is perfect for smoking. This room's mine. Approved. The girl protested. What? I picked first. I'm saying the big room is mine. The next one is bigger. After getting bumped on the head, she reluctantly said, fine. Take the room. Red smiled, good. In another room, an egg was being sprayed with water. Green was tending the egg. She spoke gently, hello, little one. Ujite behind her asked, why are you watering it? She replied, it's like prenatal care for a dragon. Because green dragons like water, when a dragon egg is about to hatch, the transformation will be triggered automatically. Green turned her head and asked, oh, have you heard about this? There's been a mess lately over Yeoriam's affairs. Ujite wondered, Yeoriam? She said the earlier interview of hers seems to be trending. Ujite checked his watch. She picked up the egg worriedly. Gosh, Jill of mine didn't hear anything. Did she? Red on the other side lounged in a chair casually. Those people, we were born this way, what's so surprising? Gold asked blankly, what is it, sis? She tilted her head back and laughed. Oh, you want to know? The girl answered, yes, do you know, sis? Red's face was sinister. Of course I know. Oh, darling, I must give you sex education. The girl was frightened. I don't need it. My mother says girls don't need to know too much. Red stuck out her tongue teasingly. You don't have the right to refuse, darling. She went to where Gold was covering her ears. I mean, I'll teach you about it. Wait. I said I don't want to hear it. Red grabbed the girl's hands tightly, making Gold scream, okay. Okay. I'll listen. I'll listen. A frantic scream rang out. Help me, sir. Leaving Ujite speechless. While Green quickly covered the female egg's ears. The sky was blue. Birds chirped merrily on the branches. Red was lying asleep on the large bed. Sunlight shone across her beautiful face. Suddenly someone was rushing up the stairs. Gold opened the door and shouted, sis, wake up. Something big is happening. Which groggily roused Red. Huh. She propped herself up. This early. What's going on? I'm exhausted from staying up all night. The girl said, stayed up all night? Huh? You were up late watching weird stuff again. Weren't you? Red laughed. Yeah, watching adult films. Gold said, humph. I knew it. Then the two of them went downstairs together. Anyway, now's not the time to talk about that. She yawned. It's nothing important or I'll carve you up. Red, pay attention, what's up? She looked at the three people Ujite asked, what's going on that you all gathered this early? Green called Yeoriam, right? The egg on the pillow wiggled. It seems Jayoul is about to be born. Then the shell cracked open. They all focused on the egg, the birth of a little life. The last time Ujite witnessed the birth of a creature. It wasn't a very beautiful image. A weak person reaching out, please. She begged. Please save my child. Juhi said. It's too late, Captain. She wailed. My child has stopped breathing. Juhi said. It seems it died right after birth. Ujite looked at the baby. It was due to the poor conditions. The war had destroyed the hospital. You listened in silence. If there had been a proper medical facility nearby, that memory wouldn't have been so unpleasant. Ujite thought. I thought I'd never remember that day again. So why is it coming back now? Red noticed, oh. The egg hatched. A tiny arm appeared. And wings appeared as well. She spoke as the image of a baby dragon emerging from the egg appeared. Oh, it's peeking its head out. Green gently. Congratulations on your birth. Gold watched with delight. The little green dragon broke the egg. Jayoul. The dragon was carefully wiped down. Ujite saw and asked, you're pretty good with newborns. Where did you learn? Green replied, my mother used to do this for me. I should have licked it too, but never mind. She asked, would you like to hold it? He answered, no. Gold excitedly, hey, I want to hold it, I want to hold it. Green handed Jayoul to the girl. Its skin is delicate, so be gentle. Gold nodded. Okay. Then the girl cradled it lovingly. Wow. It's so healing. Gold suddenly had an idea. The girl smiled, sis, you actually wanted to hold it too. Right, Red denied. What, no way, if you want to hold it then hold it yourself. Then the girl handed it to Red. Hold it once. Come on. Hurry up, sis. She was startled. Hey, are you crazy? What are you doing all of a sudden? Green laughed, gently now. Jayoel yawned. Red's heart was stolen. Gold smiled. Now you see why you should try holding it. Red admitted, well, it's cute. Then Red asked you, GT, hey, we've all held it already, why don't you try? Gold added, that's right, you'd be sad not to hold Jayoel. Red laughed, haha, planning to act all noble by yourself. Huh. She teased. Then I'll throw it, catch it yourself, if it gets knocked you'll not blame me. Gold startled, are you really gonna throw it? Red grinned. I came into this house with only one goal, do you know what it is? Then she braced to throw Jayoel, it's that I want to see that rock panic. The girl panicked. Sis, you've really lost it. Before she could throw it, he took Jayoel from her hands. Gold murmured, you caught that perfectly. Red pouted. How boring. The girl said, you really aren't normal at all. Green asked, since you've already picked him up, could you try petting him? UGT hesitated for a moment, then reached out and touched him. He lightly touched Jayoel's forehead. Like this, right? Gold captured the rare moment. What are you doing? The girl replied. Such a rare sight. Moments like this should be saved as photos, right? Green lifted the flower and said, so let's take a commemorative photo of Jayoel's birth? Gold asked. Sure. But what's that flower for? Green smiled. It's a photo prop that makes the two of you, Red and Gold, curious. The flower was pinned to UGT's hair, and one was pinned to Jayoel as well. He was holding the girl in his arms. Red said, the expression over there doesn't look great. Green covered her mouth and laughed. What do you think? Is it okay? Gold checked the photo. Wow, you both look perfect. He grew impatient. Hurry up and take it quickly. Green pulled. Red puckered. But do I really have to stand in? I'm so embarrassed. Take it. Yeo Riem. Gold said, okay, get ready, 1, 2. A group photo of everyone was taken. Jayoel was drinking milk. Come on, Jayoel, are you ready? UGT asked what he was doing. Green stroked the girl's head. Since the term hasn't started and we're free, I want to teach polymorph through transfer magic. Transfer magic is a spell that transmits knowledge to another person. By channeling mana into the recipient, the receiver can usually learn without having to pay any cost. But the giver bears the risk of draining life force. Is that okay? He said as Green held Jayoel up. If he's in dragon form, it will be hard for him to go outside. She recounted that Yeo Riem and Jaeul all learned polymorph in human form. But Jayoel hasn't learned anything yet. Jayoel waved his hand. Because we grow quickly, I want him to have a fun experience before he grows up. UGT sat down in a chair. If you need my help, just say so. She sighed. What, you don't know anything about magic, do you? Green said, then I have a request. She continued, during the transfer, could you stay by our side? He replied, I know. Green glanced and said, why are you sitting so far away? You look indifferent. She patted the spot beside her. Come closer. Don't be shy. UGT responded. It's not necessary to go that far. Green propped his chin. Of course, if I get tired and drop Jayoel, having you close would catch him. Then Green complained, if Jayoel bangs against the table, I couldn't bear the guilt. He thought for a moment, then sighed in resignation. Afterwards he moved to sit by Green, so there's no other way, right? The two of their shoulders touched. She blushed, so sturdy. UGT asked, Green startled. Oh no, I mean the sofa is a bit hard, UGT said. Strange, it's full grain leather though. She focused. Then pressed her head to Jayoel. A blue aura emanated from her. I'm starting now. A few days later, in front of a large, luxurious house, Green collapsed onto the couch as if all strength had left him. Cough. It's done. UGT walked over and spoke, you've worked hard. She replied, lie down comfortably, you've worked hard sitting next to me too. Green listlessly stood up and said, I'll go rest in my room for a bit. Don't forget to feed Jayoel and burp him. As she was speaking, she suddenly slipped. If anything happens, wake me up. Okay? Green staggered, eyes wide with surprise. She fell into his arms by accident. UGT glanced down and said, let me take you to your room. Green's cheeks flushed red. Hands pressed to his chest. She bashfully avoided his gaze. Being carried like a princess makes me a bit embarrassed. UGT said without changing expression. Are you kidding? That proves you're still well, right? Green laughed out loud happily and asked, am I too heavy? He answered briefly but deftly, light as a feather. She went on. UGT didn't know how to respond. Wow, I didn't expect you to be so sweet-talking. Inside the bedroom, Green lay still on the bed breathing evenly. He gripped the edge of the door and tilted his head to look inside. UGT gently closed the bedroom door. Suddenly a face appeared out of nowhere. When he turned, it startled him. UGT thought to himself, could it be time already? Among the sofas, a beam of light concentrated there. He approached and discovered a small girl sitting inside. The girl's body gradually materialized, and the light dispersed from there. As the light faded, the girl curled up, her eyes like someone just waking up. GT saw the scene, a bit bewildered, and fell silent. He hesitated slightly, lips moving as he said, "Hello." The Lair precinct, in front of a tall, large building. 3 people crossing the street laughed. The superpower investigation team searched for months and couldn't catch those guys. Yet you took them down in days. Did you see the chief's face earlier? I was so happy I could die. Kim Song pulled out a shiny gold card and looked at him. Our golden boy UGT, want something to eat? Today I'll treat the whole team to a feast. Carrara nudged his arm teasingly. Team leader, you'll be using the company card, right? Kim Song startled and forced a laugh. I mean, shall we keep partying? UGT suddenly spoke, making the 2 stop short. I'll be leaving early. I have personal business. He bowed slightly and they asked, why are you sneaking off again? You missed the last party too. Carrara pushed up her glasses and added, you've been going home early lately? Suspicious? Senior, do you have a girlfriend now? He didn't look at them and replied indifferently, no, that's not it. Saying that, UGT walked off despite them grabbing at him, so I'll leave early then. If you hate us, just say it. I'll try harder, really no girlfriend, okay? Trust me. On the way, green leaves fluttered to the ground in the soft breeze. A girl on the street was walking and chatting happily. UGT on the opposite side walked over and overheard the conversation. I told him not to send those nonsensical texts anymore. He immediately transformed into that girl. The Grand Duke's phantom now serves as a double acting on UGT's behalf at work. In the past, the Demon Duke's skill was used to extend influence over distant kingdoms. But after killing its previous master, it became a double of UGT. The heavy click of high heels on the tiled floor rang out in the space. The double of UGT stood motionless, eyes vacant, hands gripping a handbag. Not far away, UGT was sitting on a wooden chair with his back turned. It walked over to him, placed a hand on his chest, bowed. Master, your servant reports. When the double opened its eyes, it froze at something it saw. Master? It looked at the little girl sitting in GT's lap and couldn't help but ask, what is that? He turned to the double and answered, that's Ujiao. I just took the child to get a haircut. It immediately understood. So the girl has transformed into human form. Passersby laughed and chatted loudly. Oh, what a good baby. She's lying quietly in her father's arms. The couple looked so harmonious. Hearing that, the double looked at UGT and asked, if it's inconvenient for you, shall I hold her for you, my lord? The little girl's eyebrows slightly furrowed at that. She saw the scene and startled. Stepping back, he set Jio Ul down on the ground. And the girl sighed, it's okay. After all, she figured it out herself. The double said no more and steered the topic elsewhere. But why did you bring Jio Ul out yourself? Bom, Yeo Riem, and Jie Yul are at home. He immediately explained to it, Bom is exhausted from the effects of the transfer spell. As for the other 2, Gold cheerfully leapt over, arms outstretched, appearing. Jio Ul, want to go shopping with me? Red showed visible displeasure. Don't even think about handing her over to me. UGT, though angry, kept his composure. They're still young. The double bowed its head and spoke softly. I understand. GT hesitated, then asked, so what do you want to say? It asked back, puzzled. Do you mean? Suddenly a shaft of light radiated around you. Don't play dumb. I know you can transmit every emotion and memory to me. The double became a bit flustered hearing its master speak and turned its face away to answer. It's not dissatisfaction. It's just that your servant is doubting my purpose. Among those who have used your servant, none have yearned for a mundane life like yours. They always wanted to use your servant for loftier aims. For example, ordering your servant to kill those who must be killed or helping them flaunt power when needed. But this lifetime's master only wishes to enjoy everyday life. Something a lowly servant finds hard to comprehend. If my words are disrespectful, please pardon me. GT listened silently, then said, you are also a thinking being, so such thoughts are understandable. As he was speaking, he suddenly rose from the chair. There will be times you must act. For now, continue going to the police station regularly. Your colleagues will miss you greatly. Go drinking with them for fun. At the last sentence, it fell into a reverie remembering its colleagues since it would soon part from them. The double acknowledged the order, quickly stood and left. Yes, my lord. UGT stood still watching its retreating back grow more distant. Suddenly a voice made him turn his head. Sweetie, do you like that one a lot? A mother and child pair walked past in front of UGT. If I'd known you liked it so much, I would have bought it sooner. The little girl said with a radiant smile. Mom is the best. The girl walked while holding the stuffed bear high in her hands. From where he stood looking down, he saw Jio-ul staring at it with bright eyes. UGT called out, making the girl turn back to look. Do you want a doll? He reached into the shallowest part of the abyss and pulled out a bear. UGT brought it before Jio-ul and said, Here you go, though it's a little different. He placed the bear into the girl's hands. A pink atmosphere of affection emanated around the bear. Jio-ul's cheeks flushed pink as she looked at it with delight. Seeing that, UGT asked further, Do you like it? The girl suddenly set the stuffed bear down on the ground. Then she walked slowly, step by step, over to him. UGT thought Jio-ul shouldn't be picked up and asked to clarify. Asking for more? I'm out. Jio-ul's previously smiling face instantly turned sad. The little girl placed her tiny hands on his cheeks. A gust of wind rustled. Jio-ul pressed her forehead against UGT's, causing him to momentarily freeze. He wondered inwardly why she suddenly behaved like this, or perhaps images from the past flashed through UGT's mind. His eyes glanced down at the girl, thinking, could she be misinterpreting the transfer of magic as a way to show affection? A sudden thought passed by. A girl being hung on a cross. UGT's eyes widened as if witnessing something horrifying, and also moments of having to fight monsters. Though exhausted, he still kept his eyes wide open. A horde of monsters descended from the sky toward UGT like predators. His face was slightly scratched, eyes hollow as he stared ahead. UGT gently closed his eyes. The gears of fate began to turn. Back in the present, he was holding Jio-ul in his arms and the two looked at each other. The girl let go and looked at UGT with some surprise. He unconsciously gave Jio-ul a gentle smile. Jio-ul held the stuffed bear in one hand and gripped UGT's hand with the other. The two walked hand in hand down the narrow path, the girl humming happily. He stopped and looked up toward the sky. The sky had turned the rosy golden hues of evening. GT suddenly asked, making the girl puzzled. You arrived so early? From a distance, a girl with golden hair came running. Oh, my lord. He didn't greet her but asked, Where have you been? Gold, who was rubbing her cheek against Jio-ul, replied, I just popped into the shopping district for a bit. Jio-ul in human form is so adorable. The two of them hugged, faint pink streaks appearing on their faces. The kid smiled gently and pressed her forehead to Jio-ul's. The girl seemed happy to receive a gift from my lord. GT held the bear in his arms watching them. Can you read Jio-ul's thoughts? Gold replied cheerfully and explained. When we dragons make physical contact, we don't just transfer mana. We also understand each other's emotions and thoughts. Direct contact is the most effective. Simply put, it's a form of physical contact used to express affection. He recalled earlier and reached up to touch his forehead. Well, I didn't know that. The kid laughed out loud while holding the girl. So there are things you don't know after all. GT looked at the item Gold was wearing on her back and asked, What's that on your back? The kid glanced over, pondering. Gold smiled, hesitating. This is... She pulled a guitar out from inside herself and strummed a few strings to tune it. Gold introduced excitedly. It's something I bought to convey my soul to others without touching skin. What do you think? Looks like a singer, right? The kid eagerly kept playing, making Jio-ul watch with bright eyes. I'll do my best. And yet GT still watched with an utterly impassive expression. The image of the guitar and several syringes appeared. He stood watching Gold sitting amid the wreckage. GT trembled so much he was speechless. The kid's face lost its joy and took on something indescribable. Back in the present, he swallowed lightly. Gold blew on her reddened palms from unfamiliarity with playing. GT spoke, causing the kid to pause. Don't overdo it, that's enough. Gold, thinking he was reprimanding her, hurriedly waved and ran after, asking why. GT, seeing her like that, clarified. I mean, just take it slow. Gold was about to say more, but he cut in. But I want you to try. Has you BOM woken up? The kid sighed and answered, still sleeping, her fever hasn't gone down. GT led Jio-ul by the hand and, glancing back, said, Well then, it's from days of continuous magical battles. As for you Yeoriam, when GT asked further, Gold put a hand to her mouth to think and said, As for Yeoriam, she's been immersed in dramas all day, not stepping out of her room. It's the first time I've seen Yeoriam engrossed in something other than fighting. GT heard that and felt reassured. It's better than causing trouble out on the streets. The three of them went home. The kid took the little girl's hand and led her inside. Jiaol, remember to wash your hands after going out. His eyes suddenly dropped, full of vigilance. Gold cheerfully wondered to herself, has Bohm woken up yet? Suddenly GT's hand landed on the kid's shoulder. The atmosphere around him darkened. You Jiaol, go to your room with Jiaol immediately. Do not come out until I call you. The kid, slightly puzzled and about to ask, was cut off by him. Huh? Why all of a sudden, quick? Seeing GT's expression made her a little frightened. Yes. The kid picked the girl up and ran straight to the room. Jiaol, let's read a fairy tale together. Okay? He watched the two of them run back to the room. Once he confirmed they were safe, GT turned his face toward the door. He walked over and placed his hand on the doorknob. A creaking sound rang out. GT stepped into the room. His face darkened slightly as he looked at what was inside. The room was without a single light. Only GT and 4 strangers stood inside his house. One of them suddenly spoke up. Who dared to turn the green dragon into this? His eyes flashed, his tone threatening. Was it you? Guardian bodyguards. Dragons use domination magic to chain monsters or humans useful to them. They turn those beings into guards of their lair called dragon knights. The elite guards act as escorts for young dragons on outings, like these. Green was still lying in bed, sleeping soundly and unaware. GT looked at her and thought to himself, did he cast a sleep spell on you, Bom? The guard suddenly stomped his foot hard on the floor. He shouted angrily in his face. Answer me, did you do this to Green? GT didn't answer but countered. When you enter someone else's home, shouldn't you introduce yourself first? He raised an arm wreathed in black energy. Seems you don't understand the situation. Guardian quickly launched an attack at him. Questioning is the privilege of the powerful. Only I have the right to interrogate here, you lowly human. GT looked up. It was a high-grade defensive barrier spell. He withdrew his power and continued. This is your final warning. Guardian clenched the air in his hand. What did you do to Green? Confess, human. He answered bluntly without fear. Blue has awakened. Hearing GT's answer made him pause. Green ended up like that because of an attempt to teach polymorph via transfer magic. Guardian's hostility toward him had lessened. So who are you? GT put his hands in his pockets and replied, I'm the kid's guardian. He sneered contemptuously. Guardian. What a ridiculous introduction. Do you even know what you're protecting? GT quickly answered and added a question. Of course I do, which is why I have doubts. That single question stunned the group. How did you arrive so early? You ought to be drifting in that X-space rift right now. They spoke in disbelief. How did you know? The Guardians suddenly drew their weapons. This human already knows too much. We are the children's guards and keepers of historical causality. I acknowledge you've cared for them in our stead. But you seem unrelated to what is good. Letting you live will bring disaster. GT sighed. So this can't be solved by dialogue. The sound of wind whooshed by. Don't worry, the lot of them charging you with weapons won't be a headache. The guard bearing the sword lunged powerfully. He decisively swung at GT. A terrible power surged from the blade, but GT quickly parried it with an ordinary sword. He muttered in astonishment. Could my magic sword be destroyed so easily? GT calmly blocked the blow with a face void of expression. Then he decisively flung that man and his sword away. The shield-bearing guardian nearby saw this and shouted loudly, pathetic, collapsing from such a mundane strike. Ha! Let this one be handled by us. You fall back and observe. Then all the others beside him surged forward. The guardian, having just been defeated, shouted to his comrades, wait, hold on, this one is stronger than expected. Next he witnessed the scene of his comrades being felled one after another by GT's powerful sword strikes. When he stopped, those guardians lay prostrate on the ground. GT approached a guardian who was conscious and sitting on the ground. He thought in confusion. I've suspected from the start. An ordinary human caring for baby dragons, and even aware of our existence. I should have realized sooner. He is a transcendent being who must not be touched. As GT stepped closer, the 4 of them exchanged glances. Then he let out a sigh. The sword in his hand vanished. GT said, I already proposed negotiation earlier. The guardian suddenly asked, is this world under your rule? GT calmly replied, answer my question first. How did you survive when space was warped? The guardian looked at him and then explained seriously, due to a spatial twist. Then he recalled, before, a group of guardians along with a great dragon. Our master opened a gate to connect the lair and this world. But for some reason, the spatial dimension was distorted and tossed us out into the cosmos, back to reality. GT asked for a clearer explanation about the spatial twist. Gold answered, I don't know much, but our master once mentioned something called the horizon of fate. Spatial twisting occurs because of energy from that place, as if all dimensions were being sucked around it. GT heard this and thought skeptically. Strange, I've never heard of a horizon of fate before, so how does it relate to their appearing here? Did the horizon assist their arrival? This is unlike previous times. This is the first time Green's guards have come looking for me. Then he coldly glanced at the guardian who was slowly crawling up and bleakly said, I must know how you came here. How did the horizon bring you? That guardian continued to explain. More precisely, a will crossed that boundary and aided us. GT was puzzled. A will? He said it felt like an invisible force guiding the way. It led me to gather the guardians and find the place where the baby dragons were hiding. Hearing that, GT said, let me check a bit. Next, he gently placed his hand on that guardian's head. He leaned down slightly and said, look me straight in the eyes. The balance eye skill is one of the 3 powers I seized from the Demon King. An eye that discerns good and evil, true and false, love and hate, revealing the truth of things. After a moment, he closed his eyes and said, so you were telling the truth. GT thought to himself, I have dealt with every threat to this world already. GT glared in anger. He checked the space countless times. Why does a rift still appear? That guardian spoke of a will beyond the horizon, carried rage like a curse, perhaps because I bear the core of Noon created from Green's power. I can sense it. Hearing that, GT slowly reached out, then decisively pierced through the guardian's armor. Afterwards, he pulled something out. The guardian cried out in pain. Next, GT ripped the armor away forcefully. A breach in the armor appeared, and something inside was glowing. He was astonished. Suddenly many glowing chains crawled out from within. The Zhongx time acceleration power detected a destroyed timeline. The Zhongx time acceleration power identified hostile elements. This power fiercely purges anything outside the main temporal axis. Then the many chains formed into an hourglass. It will hunt all entities with separate timelines. This power, normally dormant, has now activated, and the clock fell into GT's hands. He wondered in confusion, but for now I cannot intervene. Only wait, the guardians murmured, seeing the strange light turn into a clock. Well, that's acceptable for now. GT turned back and said, what are you going to do now? The hatchlings are under my protection. You staying here is pointless. The domination magic was also disrupted by the spatial twist. What reason do you have left to stay? A guardian asked, are you releasing us? GT replied, as long as you don't cause trouble. They then rose one by one and said, very well, I will withdraw. We will do the same. GT calmly half closed his eyes and said, fine, go. But the guardian whose armor he had torn muttered with difficulty, I cannot go. GT asked, you won't go? He answered firmly, yes, because I am the keeper of causality. Before he could finish, GT punched him hard and knocked him down. GT slowly stepped forward and said, I'll ask once more. Will you still refuse to leave? That guardian replied resolutely, I cannot. He placed his foot firmly on the guardian's chest, releasing a force that made the whole room tremble. Coldly asking one last time, still not? The guardian looked at him weakly and answered, I cannot. The guardians behind him said, it's useless to keep arguing. He's just stubborn, standing before freedom but not daring to take it. What a fool. GT glanced over and pondered for a moment, then turned his face away and said, go on. Fine. At least then you deserve to be a guardian. A sword slowly materialized in his hand. The guardian was surprised. Huh? After a while, the room descended into chaos. The guardians who craved freedom now lay dead. The stubborn ones who refused to leave struggled to stand and asked, why are you keeping only me? Are you testing us? GT replied calmly, not exactly. Rather, I find you quite interesting. Why do you insist on protecting Green so fiercely? He answered immediately, it's because my loyalty to the Green family is unwavering. You say loyalty is good, but Green already has me to protect them. If you're weaker than me, you have no right to be their guardian. However, there's a role that suits you well. Hearing that, he curiously looked up. Elsewhere, Gold was holding Jyoul while Red stood by when GT said, say hello to each other. He and the guardian wearing an apron appeared. GT said, this is my new housekeeper. His face showed some reluctance. Helplessly he thought, housekeeper? In the cozy kitchen, the smart robot's dishwashing rustled through the air. It washed each bowl and plate thoroughly, creating suds to clean them. The smart robot spoke in its own human-like way. He shot back, "What, a housekeeper? Are you kidding?" GT snapped, "Don't like it?" The stubborn robot retorted, "What does guarding dragons have to do with cleaning? I'm not clever enough to understand this." He slammed his hand on the table. "As I said yesterday, I can protect the dragons on my own. Letting you stay is mercy. If you don't do your housekeeping duties well, I'll erase you, so show some effort." The robot sullenly returned to the kitchen and sighed. "How did I end up in this situation?" At that moment, Green stepped forward in a sweet voice. "You're a guardian from Escalapa, right?" It was surprised. "Miss you, BOM. Are you well?" She smiled. "Yes, just a bit tired. I heard you're staying on as a housekeeper?" The robot changed tone sadly. "I suppose so." Suddenly Green praised, "The apron suits you. From now on, please take care of things, housekeeper." Oh my, being complimented by a girl made his cheeks flush. He felt embarrassed. At that moment, the robot's hand holding a bowl trembled slightly. "Cleaning or washing dishes? Leave it all to me, milady. I won't let anyone dirty their hands, sir." Who would have thought a moment later there was the sound of breaking dishes? She said, "Ah, that's very expensive." Jio-ul in a little green bear outfit looked absolutely adorable. Next came a school uniform that gave an innocent childhood vibe. Or a pretty, ethereal ball gown the girl wore. Gold watched the system screen with sparkling eyes. Delighted. "So cute. When did you buy these? They're so beautiful." Green replied, "I ordered them right after she was born." "Jio-ul, do you like them?" Seeing her delighted expression, Gold teased, "Of course she likes them." He grinned broadly. "Which outfit looks best?" asked the housekeeper. The robot answered, "To me, Jio-ul is cute in every outfit." The little girl laughed heartily. "Good answer." She beamed, "Thank you." Meanwhile, no one noticed GT's face grow stern, as if about to turn black with thought. Who would have guessed his attention was fixed on the little girl smiling happily? This one sure knows how to flatter. Red patches appeared on his alabaster hands, drawing attention. GT shouted angrily, "Are you still playing the guitar?" Gold hurriedly replied, "Oh no, only occasionally plucking a bit." Green also wondered, Gold plays guitar because he likes it. "Any problem, sir?" He said in a low voice, "I didn't say anything." That reminded him. "Yeo Riem has been missing all day? Still buried in games?" She stammered, probably. The housekeeper spoke up. "Actually, I tried to clean her room earlier but was sent away. But her complexion was so pale. I was really worried. Her skin looked washed out, milady." Red snapped, "Leave me alone. Get out, shorty." Hearing the robot, Green said, "It's probably just from staying up late watching movies." GT's narrow eyes glanced at her as if wanting to say something. Then he moved to Red's door with a stern expression. Those eyes looked inside, growing angrier as if shocked by what they saw. Beer bottles were strewn across the floor, ashtrays piled into a grotesque heap. At that moment, Red had a cigarette clamped in her mouth. She chewed a bite of meat and said, "What is it?" Suddenly GT cut in, "I'm just checking if you're still alive." At that time, patriotic music played from the TV. He looked up at the screen in disbelief. "Do you watch this all the time?" Red was surprised. "Have you ever watched it, you GT?" "Frankly, no." She enthusiastically explained, "There are 7 episodes, but the content is terrible and the setting is trash." UGT said solemnly, "Then don't watch it." Red frowned, "Right, you're a genius, huh?" Suddenly he turned his back and walked away. Then reminded, "Go outside. I have something to discuss." Afterwards UGT gently held Jio-ul and instructed, "Then, from now on, we'll do a full cleaning." Red complained upon hearing this. "Huh, a full clean?" Gold wondered, why all of a sudden? He explained, "Even if you're not ordinary people, living among humans requires cleanliness. Especially Yeo Riem and Jia-ul. Your rooms are disgustingly filthy." Being singled out made Gold shout, "What? How did you get into my room?" "My mother taught me not to invade others' spaces." UGT coldly retorted, "Did she teach you to live messily?" The little girl wailed, "That's not the point." He said seriously, "Leave the living room and kitchen to the housekeeper. Clean your own rooms." Red stood up and picked her nose. "Ridiculous. There's a housekeeper. Why should I clean?" Gold sneered, "EW so dirty." She quickly smeared Gold's face with her hand. "Here. This is for you." Then the whole house heard Gold's loud screams. After Red left the room, Gold held her face and wailed, "Sis, I hate dirt." Red added a taunt. "You say you hate dirt but keep your room like a pigsty. Hey shorty, I'm off to training. Clean my room. I'll check later." The robot replied promptly, "Yes, ma'am." Green also stood up. "I've been cleaning since yesterday. Let's go grocery shopping tonight. Our household is busier now, so we'll cook a big meal." Hearing her report, UGT nodded repeatedly. Aha. But in his memory, the image returned and his face turned deathly pale. When they saw the dishes Green had cooked, Green smiled warmly. Do you want anything to eat? Is there something you're craving? He hurriedly said, no, go on. At the same time, bottle caps and marbles rolled around the housekeeper's feet. Even it was left speechless at the state of the room. Then the robot spoke. Although I don't have a nose, I can still smell the stench. This is hell, no, worse than hell. No wonder Yeoriam is so pale. What's with that basin? Is she training to resist poison? After surveying the area, it decided, okay, first pick up the big trash. UGT stepped forward and said, no, those are cans. Cans and plastic must be sorted separately. Are you a housekeeper who doesn't know that basic rule? Does the Scalapa have no concept of recycling? What a lawless land, it frowned in thought. Others might not notice, but I can tell this is demonic energy, perhaps a fragment of him. He teased, staring blankly like that. Are you planning to stay up all night? The robot obediently nodded repeatedly. Yes, sir. Looking just like the original form. At that moment, the real UGT stepped up. What are you two doing instead of cleaning? The demonic UGT replied, you're here, sir. I'm instructing the housekeeper to work. It trembled and dared not speak. I've heard your account. He said in a low voice, don't just stand there pointing. Help him. I called that person because he might not manage Yeoriam's room. The demonic UGT looked stunned. Me? In the gym area, Red in workout gear was energetically lifting weights. Green was diligently picking out fruits to cook with. Over here Gold was trying to stuff clothes into the wardrobe. Everyone was busy hustling to clean the house. The sky had shifted to a glowing orange gold, bathing UGT's mansion in shimmering light. The demonic UGT came to report. It's all done, sir. He answered, very good. This is where you need to be. Something on the screen made the demonic UGT gasp. The computer monitor displayed a satellite view of the northern hemisphere. The demonic UGT said, Moscow, Russia. He explained, an invisible demon organization is researching a super demon of the comment type here. After we finish this week's police matters, fly to Russia. UGT emphasized, find prototype X at all costs for me. The demonic UGT crisply replied, yes, sir. I'll prepare immediately. At that moment, Green approached with a bright face and sparkling smile. I'm back. The robot smiled kindly. Hello, milady. Gold whined. Sis, you bought so much? Green carried 2 full bags and replied, the house has many mouths to feed, so we must cook a lot. The UGT persona stepped forward. UBOM is back. May I come in? UGT interrupted. Wait. He ordered sharply, you must swap clothes with me right now. At that moment, the dining table held some slightly unusual dishes. Green said, enjoy your meal, kids. Gold stared into her bowl of soup. This flavor is so like a scalapa. Red added, it's passable. The little girl asked innocently, it would be so fun if the housekeeper ate with us. Red shouted, how can you eat with no mouth, you idiot? At that moment, the UGT persona, disguised as the real DT, was sweating as he looked at the food. Could the master really have told me to sit here because of this? Meanwhile, in a dense, foggy space, an abandoned industrial zone near Lair, a man shouted curses with blood continuously streaming from his mouth, looking truly grotesque. He stared into UGT's eyes and ranted wildly. You think you can pull this stunt and walk away unharmed? You lowly human who dares? Do you know who backs me? Before he could finish, you sliced him across the belly. The man collapsed to the floor with a thud, and UGT said, yes, I know exactly. He grabbed the man's hair and lifted his head, reminding him, Professor Y Yuan of the Qinglong Academy, right? No, better to call him the fiend Y Yuan of the Invisible Organization. Isn't that correct? What is Y Yuan plotting? What are you planning to do? UGT used his heavenly dragon eye ability and threatened, don't try to lie to me. Tell the truth. The man's face was distorted and smeared with dark red blood. Trembling, I don't know the details, but he said that in 3 months, if the plan succeeds, he will be chosen. GT said in a low voice, chosen. Do you mean a seat, right? The man hurriedly answered, yes. The seats are only for 4 elite fiends selected by the Invisible Organization. Normally fiends operate in small groups, but those who attain a seat will have their own military force and reach the highest rank in the fiend hierarchy, power at a catastrophic level. UGT pondered, strange. In previous loops, Y Yuan never attained a seat, and at this point he wasn't capable of devising such a plan. Then he noticed something unusual. The temporal acceleration power of Zhong X detected malice beyond the horizon. The Zhong X temporal acceleration power, because the heart of that existence lies outside the world's timeline, targeted Fiend Yuan. There was interference from an entity dissatisfied with the regression loop and existing outside the world's timeline. Fiend Yuan had escaped the cyclical regression, carrying the best elements from the previous loop. After the guards, now Yuan as well. Are all things related to me being interfered with? While UGT was deep in thought, he heard the man call out, "Hey, I only know up to this point, but if you spare me, I can dig up more information. My mother is sick and waiting at home. I won't betray you. Please spare me." Unexpectedly, UGT showed no mercy and sliced off the man's head, which fell to the ground. GT used his heavenly dragon eye to generate killing intent. "I told you, lying is useless on me. Even if it's true, you still have to die." Immediately after, the abandoned house exuded a thick stench of blood. Annihilation, incineration. As the season shifted, a new day began with freshness and birdsong. He walked among the crowd, pondering. If Yuan has a grand plan to attain a seat, it very likely involves Lair. UGT recalled the moment Yuan asked Red, "Could you represent us and lead the year-end event?" The year-end event might be connected to that man's scheme. Suddenly, a voice rang out. "Oh, what an adorable baby." In the park square, everyone was eagerly gazing at Green and Jio-ul. Everyone praised Jio-ul. "Never have I seen such a cute child." "What's her name?" Green replied, "It's Jio-ul." Passersby kept complimenting the girl. "Her eye and hair color are beautiful." "How old is she?" Suddenly Green noticed UGT's arrival, and her eyes widened in surprise. UGT spoke, "What are you people doing with this child?" The sharpness of his gaze made everyone shake their heads in fear. "Oh, it's nothing," Green murmured. "We haven't seen you all day." "Where have you been?" He answered, "Just some errands." "And you, why are you with Jio-ul?" She tilted her head and said, "I've been sick lately, so I haven't had time to play with her. Class starts tomorrow." "I'm afraid we won't have chances to play together later," he replied. "I see." Green's eyes lit up and she smiled warmly as she looked into UGT's eyes. That was the divine profile with his straight, attractive nose. Suddenly she said, "Don't we look just like a family like this? Jio-ul is your daughter and I'm her mother. If we follow that script, then we would be." At that moment little Jio-ul was looking at them with innocent, clear eyes. Green hinted to him, "And so you and I would be." UGT remained silent, saying nothing, as if deep in thought. Green smiled shyly. Who knows what she was thinking then? Seeing UGT so serious, she backtracked. Just kidding. Why are you so serious?" He said sternly, "If you keep joking around, you'll go home." Then UGT picked the girl up and walked ahead, asking with concern, "Did you have fun?" Green stood at a distance watching that figure walk away, her face full of thought. The sky had turned a romantic orange gold. Beneath the cherry blossoms were students dressed neatly in uniforms. The girls hurried across the road to make it to class on time. Petals fell across the academy courtyard, creating a picturesque scene. At the same time, Gold was gobbling a piece of bread while running in a hurry. Her cheeks flushed and her mouth beamed with a bright smile. "Finally going to school. What grade are you in?" "I wish I could be in class with you," Green smiled. "I'm studying superhuman studies, literature, magic, and sociology." "Hey Jio-ul, I've been wondering, why are you holding that sandwich in your mouth the whole time? You already ate at home this morning." Suddenly the girl blushed and smiled shyly. "Don't you know? My mother said if I hold a sandwich on the way to school and bump into someone." Gold revealed the secret, that person would be my destiny. As she said this, her eyes shone like stars, full of hopeful light. Who would have thought Red would be the one she bumped into? How romantic, ouch. Red jeered. "I wish I had a destined person like that." "Oh my, didn't expect to bump into the cutie, so you're the cutie's destined person, huh?" The girl panicked. You're a girl though." Red quickly grabbed the sandwich and shoved it into his mouth. "So what? I watch Western movies and see girls nibbling on each other all the time." The little girl shouted, "That's my sandwich." The kid reminded them, "By the way, where did that man disappear to this morning? Isn't he supposed to be observing our class?" Green replied, I think he said he'd go to the office first to verify something." Red laughed loudly. "Huh, he wasn't home yesterday either. Probably off meeting some girl." Green froze. "No way, he's not that kind of person." Gold asked, "What's wrong with you? Why are you suddenly sweating?" Suddenly, the girl seemed to notice something strange. Gold curiously asked, "Who are those people? They don't look like students. Who else would be here? Maybe reporters." Red said, "They're probably here to photograph standout students among the freshmen." Green hurried off. "You guys go ahead, I'll go in first." At that moment, a young man turned his head and noticed something. The crowd around grew curious. Could that girl be Yeoriam? The one who defeated Sophia and made that earth-shaking remark? That's right. It's the red-haired girl. Red muttered in disbelief and swore. Immediately lights shone directly on the kid and reporters bombarded her with questions. Are you Yeo Riem? Please let us interview you for a moment. Look over here. Please answer the interview. Gold timidly hid behind Red. What is this? What's wrong with you people? Red's mouth widened and she shouted. Everyone. The girl angrily screamed so loudly it pierced the schoolyard. Red snapped. Hey reporters, I already answered before. Still not enough? Fine, I'll take you one by one. The kid showed no restraint and raised a polite finger. Come on in here, you lot. Little Jio dreamily woke up. Waking to find the house empty, the girl stared fixedly at the door. Guardian, seeing this, grew worried. He was flustered. This is awkward. Before leaving, UGT had instructed that the kids had gone to school and he wouldn't be home. Today it's just you and Jio at home, so be careful and watch the child. Guardian scratched his metal head, unexpectedly getting a task harder than cleaning. I've never babysat before. He called out, Hey little Jio. The girl turned back and looked at him with bright, shining eyes. Guardian stepped forward and spoke like a professional butler. The other girls and the housemaster will return tonight, so don't wait around. Why not find a comfortable place to sit and rest, miss? Jio heard him but didn't respond. The two of them just looked at each other for a while. Finally, the girl coldly turned away, leaving him standing rooted to the spot. Guardian panicked. It's so suffocating. Unable to persuade Jio, he dejectedly went elsewhere to start routine chores. Well then, time to clean. Suddenly, he looked toward the center of the living room. His eyes brightened as he found a solution to break the impasse. Once more, Guardian stepped up beside Jio. Miss Jio, he said. In his hand was a book. Guardian asked, Would you like to read a fairy tale with me? Fortunately, Jio agreed, and the two of them went to the room to read. The girl's bright eyes sparkled as she looked into the pictured world. Seeing such a positive reaction, Guardian was secretly pleased. Seems the girl is interested in fairy tales. I'll read one for you, miss. The story begins. Its title is My Father is a Ferryman. Guardian began. Once upon a time, in a distant forest. Suddenly the bright tale was warped. If it's an ancient forest, it must be from before the demon realm, some primeval woodland. The story continued. There lived a little girl named Dalsoon with her father. Guardian added an unnecessary comment. It seems the girl's mother had passed away, but Dalsoon is lucky. Back then, a single survivor was already a miracle. Before bed, her father would tell her old stories every night. The tale couldn't retain its original innocence. Interesting. If it's an old story, then it's probably about a great war, right? Jio, wearing a disgusted expression, watched Guardian continue to prattle. So Dalsoon must be a war addict. Huh? Guardian eagerly continued. Then one morning, when she woke up, Dalsoon found her father was not at home. Perhaps he had gone to find a new mother for her. I've heard in those days it was common to take war captives as wives. If Dalsoon got a new mother, she would surely be very happy. Guardian concluded anyway Dalsoon. Suddenly he realized something was wrong. Jio looked at him with contempt. Guardian was bewildered. What's wrong, miss? Do you not like the story's content? Jio didn't answer. She just pointed off into the distance. The direction she pointed to was a corner of the wall. Jio then pointed at Guardian, the action repeating. She chased him to that corner to sit curled up, forbidding him from touching the book. Cut to a scene at the city center at the same time. A luxury car was speeding down the road. From the car, a graceful pair of legs stepped out. All the male students at school turned their heads to look at the newcomer. The girl who stepped out primly touched up her powder. Her name was Gong Joo-hee, heir to the Gong family, one of Korea's 3 great sword clans. Though now she cared more about beauty than swordsmanship. Joo-hee grumbled. Sword practice made me sweat and feel gross. My makeup's ruined. Joo-hee saw a group of reporters ahead. What is this? Those reporters. Could they be waiting for me? She acted annoyed. Secretary Kim, you know I don't like attention. Handle this for me. Secretary Kim behind her reminded her. It seems they're not here to photograph you, miss. Hearing that, Joo-hee was surprised. Huh? She irkily pushed into the crowd of reporters. Then who are they photographing if not me? Suddenly Joo-hee fell silent. She was astonished. Joo-hee exclaimed, Holy, those the reporters are crowding around are Red and Gold. Meanwhile Red was boldly sitting on top of a male student. Gold shyly asked, Sister, why is that person your seat? Red brazenly replied, I don't know, they volunteered. She inquired, Are you okay? Don't cry later, okay? The male student cheerfully answered, Of course. I'm your fan. Red wondered. Fan? What nonsense is that? A reporter stepped forward. So, student Yu Yeo Riem, can we begin the interview? Red answered arrogantly. If you don't follow the order, forget the interview. I'll go straight through one question each and then scram. She signaled. Then start with the man wearing the hat. Hello student Yeo Riem. I'm from the television station. Red cut in. Too much long-winded introduction. Next, the reporter shouted. I haven't even finished. Another reporter asked immediately. I'm from CT France. Recently you've become the focus in the superhuman scene. Many people are looking for you. What do you think about that? She replied bluntly, like shit. Next. Another reporter approached. Did you know your cafe booth was just set up? Say a few words to your fans. The man kneeling excitedly. Rewards have arrived. She paid him no mind. So it was this guy, you're claiming to be my fan? Crazy. Next. A different reporter introduced himself. I'm Park Gang-ho from the Gazan Daily. From his fat body came a strange foul odor. He kept wiping sweat. What did you mean by the line at the Chongryong Academy interview? Red pinched her nose and answered. We know, why ask? Does your head only have that stuff? She whispered. What's that smell? He persisted. Don't be like that, explain clearly. Of all the words, why did the girl choose that one? Red frowned irritably. The reporter looked at her with a perverted expression, as if implying something else. Red didn't let it pass and cut in. Reporter? Red challenged. Do you want to do that with me? Gang Ho was stunned. Huh? He stammered, hey, don't be like that. Red's face darkened. You know, I was just joking. If you know it's a joke, why twist it? Seeing her anger, but the reporter still wouldn't stop. Maybe student Yeo Riem is young and doesn't understand yet, but being a reporter is that kind of job. So if you cooperate, I'll write a decent article for you. Red angrily lunged forward and grabbed the reporter by the collar. Oh my. Do you think I'll tolerate you forever? Gold behind panicked. Hey sis, ignore them. Let's go inside. Gang Ho's camera kept capturing every moment of Red. He was secretly pleased. Yeah, if she acts aggressive like this, views will spike. But he still felt a bit regretful. Maybe I should rile her up a little more. Thinking it, he provoked further. If you keep this up, I'll have to write the story my way. For example, Yu Yeo Riem at the center of controversy, demanding relations with a reporter. Red clenched her fist. Go ahead and write that. She lunged angrily at the reporter. But first, you're gonna die by my hand. Gold chased after to stop her. Yeo Riem. Suddenly her punch was stopped. GT had appeared in time to handle everything before Red could take things too far. Gold breathed a sigh of relief. You arrived just in time. GT looked at Red. Did you come here and start trouble? Red yelled. No, it's that pig, he's the one. Seeing Red seemed unable to calm down. GT decisively picked her up and carried her away. Red resisted, but it was negligible. What the? Put me down, GT announced to the reporters. The interview is over here. Before leaving, he also threatened them. And you'd better not put this in the papers. A surge of power emanated from GT as he strode off in anger. His steps so forceful they crushed a patch of ground. Gang Ho backed away in fear. His interviewing equipment also burned out. Red stared blankly at GT's recent actions. The three of them walked off together under many people's stares. GT warned Yu Jie Yule, if you don't want to be late on your first day, go in now. Gold trailed behind, yes. He witnessed the whole scene and froze. Did you see that? Secretary Kim understood and said, or shall we investigate their household? But he didn't care about that. Where is that blonde girl with the big chest? In class, the teacher began to introduce himself. The professor smiled cheerfully. Welcome, students. I am Kaido, your swordsmanship instructor. Today's lesson will cover the history of swordsmanship and the proper attitude when holding a sword. Red watched bored. Attitude when holding a sword? Hurry up and teach fighting already. GT appeared surprised, truly surprised. I thought you'd get so bored you'd run off, she sighed. What are you talking about? I've watched trashy movies but still stuck it out. She said seriously. I have to train hard until I can beat that guy with the cone hat. Just wait, one day I'll defeat him. She wondered. By the way, why are you in my class? Go with the others. GT replied nonchalantly. You know the reason better than I do. Red raised an eyebrow. Oh come on, I didn't cause trouble. I've been very good lately. GT reminded her. Have you forgotten the reporter incident earlier? Red flinched. She still tried to justify herself. That pig kept getting on my nerves, kept trying to provoke me. If you were in my shoes, you wouldn't stand it either. Red moved closer to GT as she spoke. He warned. Don't get involved with me. Hot-headed. Red teased cheerfully. What's wrong? Men usually go crazy over this kind of contact. Are you shy? In response to Red's teasing, GT was silent. Red didn't get the reaction she wanted and grew disappointed. Red slumped over the desk. Oh man, boring. Only then did GT speak. Studying is inherently dull. Red protested. It's not the studying, it's the way he talks. She sprawled on the desk. He's a kidnapper and not even an interesting one. Red recalled, at first I thought he was unusual too. Thinking there would be days of dopamine-fueled excitement to come. Red pouted. But I didn't expect him to play this domestic family act. GT replied, the things that happen on your way to school are exciting enough, aren't they? Recalling the past, Red was annoyed. Not frustrated, but wanting fights, killing, the intoxication of victory. Suddenly the teacher's voice sounded behind her. Oh, it seems our student Yeo Riem is getting restless. At times like this, the teacher has a useful method. The teacher proposed, stay after class with your guardian. Okay? Red's face contorted at the request. After class, in the gym. Red was furiously scrubbing a wooden sword. The more she scrubbed, the angrier she became. Red suddenly sprang up and threw the sword aside. Damn. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. Why do I have to clean this? I want to fight. Opposite her, GT was also cleaning. He calmly advised, instead of complaining, just clean. Red, annoyed. Just call someone from home to do it and be done with it. He likes cleaning, though. GT asked again. Then who watches Jaeol? She sighed and let it go. That blue-haired brat is useless too. Red changed the subject. I have a question. Did you get any proper schooling when you were young? While wiping the sword, GT answered. No time for a proper education. She took advantage and teased. What, you're an idiot too? No time to study is usually just an excuse. Ha ha ha. He simply replied, it was wartime then, you had to be busy surviving. Red went blank at that, turned away. Damn, that killed the mood. So what caused my situation then? She thought for a moment and decided to ask. Is your life enjoyable? GT looked up and answered. Not really. Red squatted in front of him. Then what's the point of living if it's so boring? If I were as strong as you, I wouldn't live such a dull life. Or maybe you're bored because you're too strong. Haha. GT pondered. Life goes on. I can't abandon it. Red broke the seriousness. Stop acting like a child. GT didn't want to argue. Enough chatter, finish cleaning. Cut to evening at GT's house. Everyone was enjoying themselves. The scene was warm and family-like. Red fiddled with a Rubik's Cube in her hands. So you turn it like this to line up the faces? While she was fiddling and trying to solve it, the guardian kept walking back and forth cleaning behind her. Annoyed, Red hurled the Rubik's Cube at him. You bastard, are you going to keep making me pissed off? I can't concentrate. The guardian, put in an awkward spot, stammered. Sorry. After venting her anger, Red flopped onto the couch. The guardian sadly moved to clean somewhere else. Green noticed Red's bad mood and asked, why are you so upset today? Is it because the reporters bothered you this morning? Red, fed up with school. Kind of, but mostly I'm bored, haven't been able to fight lately. Red called out, hey BOM. Green was stunned, her face paling. Did you just call me sister? She came over to Red. Yeo Riem, are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? Red grumbled. Oh, come on. Do I have to use informal speech for you to be satisfied? She propped herself up. Anyway, that's not important. She wondered, what do you live for? Seeing Red like that for the first time, both Green and Jaeol stared wide-eyed. Green whispered into the girl's ear. Jaeol, Yeo Riem has finally hit puberty. Jaeol nodded in agreement. Red blushed and shouted. I heard that. You idiot. And you, blue-haired brat. What are you nodding at? Red recounted. Today I asked that human guy what the point of life is. Do you know what he said? Red imitated GT's expression. Life just goes on. You can't give it up. Green and Jaeol marveled. Oh, you copied him exactly just now. Red continued. But that person didn't seem happy. People live to find joy. If you can't feel joy, what's the point of living? For example, that golden monkey, it's happy just because it gets good food. And that little kid is happy playing with a worn-out stuffed bear. Green also thought deeply. He doesn't tell us much, but he must have something he likes. Suddenly Red answered. I think you're like that person too. Green asked. Me like him? Red agreed. Yeah, both are equally puzzling. Both are boring as hell, haha. Green fell silent, pretending to think seriously. Really? Red pressed on. So, do you find anything enjoyable about living? Green remembered something and her eyes lit up. Yes, there is one thing. Red, curious. What is it? Green's answer stunned Red. You know, he's actually a shy person. Red doubted. What? From the look of him, he's totally a cold-blooded psycho. Thinking of GT. Green gently replied, I thought so too. The memory of the two sitting together appeared in Green's mind. She recalled GT's face at that moment. Green unconsciously smiled shyly. But actually he does have a cute side. Red suddenly lunged forward, her face contemptuous. What's with that disgusting smile? Green was startled by Red's action. Oh my god. Red pinned her to the floor and kept demanding. Don't tell me you two did something weird behind my back. Green couldn't help laughing as Red tickled her. Stop tickling. It's too funny. Just then Gold ran down from the upper floor. Sis. The girl was overjoyed. Everyone's talking about you, Yeo Riem, on social media. Gold's face lit up with excitement. There are even coffee fans. Red whipped around and asked, What's a coffee fan? A jolt of realization ran through Gold. She seemed to understand something and turned red with embarrassment. It's nothing. Just keep doing whatever you two were doing. Red angrily shouted after her. Hey, you little brat. What are you doing? Another peaceful morning dawned at GT's house. In the room, you were putting on your shirt, adjusting your watch. The door suddenly opened. Green slowly stepped in, Sir/Madam. She looked up as if to say something. I need to ask a favor. GT's shirt was only half-buttoned, revealing his firm abs. Green panicked and slammed the door shut. I'm sorry. I should have knocked first. GT calmly reassured her. What's the matter? Come in. I'm still getting dressed. Green stepped in again, looking more bashful than before. Green spoke up. Could you accompany me today? Green smiled. Please come with me today. GT tightened his tie. Come with you? Why all of a sudden? She whined. You've only ever gone out with Yeo Riem and Jie Yul. Never once with me, he replied. Because they. Red gets into fights everywhere. I like violence. And Gold is easygoing. Wanna eat fried chicken with me? Wow, fried chicken. Thinking that, GT sighed helplessly. Fine. The little girl ate as she spoke. Sis, if you're not going to school, where are you going? Red snapped. Swallow your food before you talk. Green smiled. I'm going on a date with that person. The girl gasped. A date? Red looked away. You mean accompanying the guardian, right? Gold chewed his bread while taking in the news he'd just heard. Hey, why haven't you ever gone out with BOM before? Don't tell me you're favoring only me and Yeo Riem, GT explained. No, it's not like that. The girl smiled. Though favoritism is bad, I understand. Your mother is used to many men, yet she loves and pampers two, actually three. Red was astonished. Oh my god, your mom's something else. The girl laughed innocently. Right? Green sighed and turned away. So you're like one of the 97 discarded ones. GT wondered. What do you mean? Green said sadly, after finally being kidnapped, you still don't care about me. As if I've been reeled in like a fish, you don't even glance my way. Gold looked at him reproachfully. She's been abandoned. Poor bum, you're awful. Red also looked at him. I understand why you only go with us. But don't worry, you can go with BOM. You can't always keep an eye on us, he mused. Fine. She winked mischievously, having achieved her goal. Time flew until the Sunshine Building's roof was bathed in light. Inside, 15 students with their parents sat properly. Everyone whispered about Green. Oh, isn't she the sister of the famous Yeo Riem? Isn't her name BOM? So pretty, I heard she scored perfect on the entrance interview. Really? What family is she from? They say the Yu clan. I'm not sure. The Yu family sounds so rustic. At that moment, Suji clapped. All right, today's theory on communication ends here. Next, we'll practice communicative dancing. A young man spoke. I'm too embarrassed to dance. She wondered. Why be embarrassed? When you become the super representative of your clan, there will be times to dance at fancy parties too. Standing there like a wooden post would be the truly embarrassing thing. Now find a dance partner in pairs. A male-female pair stepped forward. Please help me out. Okay. Another pair blushed and held hands. If no one volunteers, then dance with me. She smiled. If you want to pair up with someone, feel free to ask. Ho ho. At that moment, a pink-haired girl snorted, attracted by something. BOM still doesn't have a partner? I thought boys would line up to ask her to pair up. The young man explained. Yeah, she's kind of hard to approach, like you'd break your hand if you touched her. Suji worriedly stepped over. Oh, BOM still doesn't have a partner? Green smiled, hiding her true feelings. Yes, I probably don't appeal to people much. She suggested, BOM is so pretty, maybe the professor. At that moment, the girl cut her off. Professor, may I invite my guardian to be my dance partner? GT in the distance was surprised to hear that. Suji nodded. Sure, of course. She quickly ran off. Thank you, she exclaimed so fast. She hurried over to where he was sitting. Green held out her hand. Sir, come on up here. He averted his gaze elsewhere. I don't know how to dance. She pouted. So you're leaving me alone? I'm so lonely. He sighed helplessly upon hearing that. At this time Suji was instructing to the rhythm. Okay, slowly take your partner's hand, 3, 2, 1, 2, step. GT and Green faced each other awkwardly. Green suddenly noticed something and was quite surprised. His hand kept going up and down. She teased. Sir, are you shy to touch me? He turned his head. Not at all. Green took the initiative and clasped GT's hands. Don't worry, touching doesn't mean falling in love, he said coldly. I know. Her voice heavy, and don't half-ass the dance, it will affect my grade, he replied. Got it. Both got into position. She said. Let's begin. They danced together smoothly to the music. Green smiled inwardly. Why are his palms sweating so much? Her fair hand gripped GT's soaking wet hand. Are you nervous? Other places were drenched too. The sweat on his chest was so much it was almost transparent. She remembered GT's hot body from before, and Green's face flushed bright red. In that distracted moment she stumbled and fell backward. But GT quickly caught her before she hit the floor. The scene was romantic. He was stunned and speechless. Green was so embarrassed her face was completely red, her heartbeat increasing. Then her vision whitened and her nose started bleeding. He was startled. A nosebleed. A while later, after class ended, at a shop by the road, Green was drinking lemon juice with a piece of tissue taped to her right nostril. GT asked, do you need to go to the hospital? She answered, Dragon doesn't need the hospital. I'm fine now. Thinking back on it, he felt puzzled, strange. There was no impact, so why a nosebleed? She shyly turned her head away. How should I know? She changed the subject, but you dance better than I expected. Where did you learn? At Green's question, GT fell into thought. A deep memory rose in his soul, his gaze growing colder. Somewhere, a girl was teaching him to dance. 1, 2, slow down. Her face broke into a cheerful smile. Not bad. At this rate, you'll be a pro soon, Captain. GT's silhouette was reflected on the ground, creating a melancholy scene. Then he replied, never learned. Green fell silent and said no more. She slowly removed the cotton from her nose. She stood up and asked, are you busy after school?
He answered, no.
She tied up her hair. Then, let's do something fun together. The full moon shone through the white clouds over Moscow, Russia, a research facility of an invisible underground organization. Warning lights flashed. Alarms screeched loudly. A figure ran quickly, with the bodies of guards lying behind. She gritted her teeth. Damn it. Damn it. Where did that monstrous fate come from? There weren't enough people here to stop it. I have to get out of here and protect headquarters. At that moment, the Guardian appeared behind her. Where are you rushing off to? She stared at him in shock. What do you want? He replied coldly, my master is looking for something X-type. A top-tier commander demon, where is he? She shouted angrily, you think I'll tell you? Kill me then. The Guardian grabbed her neck with a shadow. After killing many demons, I learned one thing. When death is near, your instincts will search. But when the pain is too great, you thrash about like a puppet with its strings cut. Do you also want to dance a few steps under the moonlight? Vera lay slumped in a pool of blood. The Guardian decoy knocked her out and sent a signal to report to GT. Master, an image of a girl with one blazing leg has appeared. The X-type specimen has been transferred back to headquarters in an invisible form as an experimental subject. And this time, X-type is female, completely different from previous versions. You listen to the information. Then GT asked, the chief researcher you dealt with earlier was Vera, right? He replied, yes, master. You ordered. Disguise yourself as him and infiltrate the invisible to find X's true identity. The Guardian decoy responded, orders acknowledged. After cutting the signal off, GT thought of the many Ma people, the vicious appearance of the supreme commanding Ma person, prototype X the creature with special abilities, connecting the minds of countless Ma people. The longer it exists, the more consciousness of Ma people it absorbs, and it becomes unpredictably dangerous. He remembered the Ma people who died by his hand, so he always prioritized destroying prototype X each cycle. But this time, the information differed from previous cycles, making the hunt encounter obstacles. GT took out his power. It displayed a message. The pleasure-centered temporal strategy S is reading malice from the horizon of destiny, scanning for existences outside the timeline. He watched the ongoing scan notification and thought that X's change of form must be due to the malice the Guardian decoy mentioned. GT clenched his power. As long as he wiped out those disturbing this world, it would be done. At that moment Green called, Sir, come here for a moment. He walked over and asked what's up. She kept saying hurry up, GT looked on in surprise. Green slightly lifted the curtain to show him the lingerie she was trying on and shyly asked, "Do you see it? Does it suit me?" GT immediately turned away. "What on earth are you doing?" Green smiled and replied, "Summer's coming. Buying one isn't a big deal, hee hee." She even invited him. "Oh, it's hard to see from there. Come inside and take a better look." He pretended not to care and said, "You're out having fun and now dragging me into this nonsense?" Green blushed. "What? I thought it was fun." As if realizing something, she asked, "What strange thing are you thinking? Adults are really hard to read." GT replied, "Don't try to rile me." Afterwards, the two went for a walk. Green didn't let the earlier matter go. "Sir, be honest, you wanted to look earlier, right?" He denied it. "No, not at all." Green continued teasing, "It's impossible you didn't want to look." Green smiled brightly and said, "I should probably buy it." GT just said, "Enough fooling around. Let's go home." She spoke up, I came to buy gifts for the kids." He repeated, "Gifts?" Green thought of Jio-ul and the stuffed bear and expressed her wish. "Do you know Jio-ul's teddy's all torn up? So I'm planning to buy it a new one, and while I'm at it get presents for the others." GT asked further, "What do the others want?" She immediately listed, "Jio-ul only likes clothes. She doesn't care about much else. So she won't feel embarrassed when hanging out with friends, or buy her a nice wallet." He asked again, "What about Yeoriam?" Green thought of what Red wanted to buy and forced a smile. "Yeoriam, yesterday she said she wanted something." She recalled the girl's tone then, "Seeing a movie the other day, I saw this, buy it for me." Green judged the item as somewhat odd. Then the two split up. She said, "I'll go look for gifts for Jio-ul and Yeoriam. You pick one for Jio-ul for me." GT agreed at once. "All right." Green watched him walk ahead. She asked, "Are you okay?" At the toy and toy stuffed animal shop, the shopkeeper stood at the counter, lost in thought. She looked at GT and guessed about late 20s to early 30s, that build model or military. Also quite good looking. He was still absorbed in choosing a stuffed animal. Alone, eyes dazed at the children's toys. The shopkeeper thought smugly, just the kind of customer to be overcharged, caught a fat fish. She cheerfully asked, "Oh, are you buying a gift for your child? How old is the child?" GT answered, "About 4 years old." The shopkeeper flattered, "Oh, that's the cutest age. Is your daughter your child?" He replied, "Not a daughter, but it is a little girl." She came over and patted GT's shoulder, praising, "Ah, so it's your niece. Rare to see uncles pick gifts themselves like this. She must love it." Then she added, "But you're a bit lacking in tact." The shopkeeper held a toy medical stethoscope to his chest, then said, "At 4 you should buy role-play toys rather than dolls. This lets you play with the child and build family bonds." Internally she thought, what a sturdy build. She enthusiastically offered, "If you buy this doctor set, I'll give you 10% off the others." Seeing him lift the toy, the shopkeeper asked, "Would you like to look it over?" GT imagined Jio-ul playing with a syringe. He said, "Then please." The shopkeeper heard only that and rejoiced, jackpot. In the end, GT bought a bunch of gifts. She kept saying, "It looks like a lot, but it's really necessary for the child's psychological development. You won't regret it." He handed over his card. The shopkeeper asked, "Paying by card?" GT said, "Yes." She was surprised when she saw the card. Thinking about the card's value in his hand, it was a black VIP card reserved for elite families. No wonder he bought whatever was suggested. The shopkeeper admired his looks and silently calculated. This guy is increasingly attractive, probably unmarried. Should I take this chance to flirt? She shyly probed, "Hey, do you have a girlfriend?" Suddenly Green appeared, threw an arm around GT, and called, "Sir." She asked, "Are you planning to buy all of this?" The shopkeeper guessed, could she be his girlfriend? Looking at Green's outfit she guessed, wait, that's a trainee uniform. Then the two continued chatting. "What are you buying for our Jio-ul?" He replied, "A stuffed bear." She said, "But why pick such random things?" The shopkeeper interrupted, "Oh, so it's for a younger sister?" Green glanced at her. She said, "The child might not be used to these at first." But Green didn't care and continued, "Our Jio-ul doesn't like these kinds of toys." The shopkeeper laughed awkwardly. "Oh." Green repeated, "She doesn't like them." The shopkeeper reluctantly said, "Ahaha, is that so?" She picked up a stuffed animal and evaluated, "This one might be okay." Green looked at the bear and continued, "It resembles the old bear, so she won't be startled." GT added, "I intended to buy it from the start." She said, "This one has a VIP discount. At home." Gold, Red, and Jio-ul all widened their eyes in delight. "Wow." Looking at the gifts, they asked politely, "Are these really for us?" Gold grabbed the new wallet. Delighted, "I was about to buy a new one." "Love you both so much." The little girl looked at the gifts everyone was interested in. Jio-ul has a stuffed bear. "What did Yeoriam get?" She replied, "Sister." Red had a handcuff in her mouth and said, Adult toy. She urged. Hey little monkey, come here. There's a fun game. Gold hurriedly refused. I don't want to play. The little girl was so scared she started to cry, screaming. And the girl who was picked up by him expressed her feelings through touch. Suddenly Green spoke up. I have a gift for you. GT opened the box. This is, she said. I saw you always wearing the same tie, so I bought this for you. Green added, when I earn some money, I'll get you a suit too. He looked at the gift and said, thanks. GT asked, why didn't you buy me anything? Green replied, oh, I did buy one thing. He curiously asked what she bought. She blushed. Thinking of the lingerie, she said, I'll show you later. A few weeks later, Guardian tiptoed in. He asked solemnly, did you call me, sir? GT instructed, I'll be away for 3 days. Take good care of Jayawal. Guardian said, are you going far, sir? He glanced at the bed and replied, yes, and Red was asleep drooling. GT continued, Yeo Riem is coming too. The next day, everyone gathered crowded in the waiting hall. A young man there spoke up, it's finally starting. The simulated Great Ma-Person War. After he finished, a purple circle gradually expanded. It was announced that the simulated Ma-Person Great War was a survival battle lasting 2 days and 3 nights in a virtual dungeon. Students would move in teams of 3 under the command of a representative guardian, called tactical commanders. They normally serve as navigators in superhuman teams that hunt monsters. Here, the guardian would play that role. At that time, GT was present here. Red beside him propped herself up and judged this year's participants. Oh my, look at those tense kids. Such mediocre ones have no real combat experience. So GT admonished, hey Yeo Riem, this isn't the time to show off. She heard this and sulked. Yeah. He continued, this isn't a solo fight, you have to cooperate as a 3-person team. Red sighed, I know, but you have to choose teammates you like. Suddenly, she noticed the group beside them. A male-female pair approached. The man scratched his head and asked, if you don't have a team yet, want to team up with us? Red snapped angrily, what the hell, you weaklings, go away. But GT calmly asked, what's your name? The young man answered, I'm Hisaki Sojiro. The woman also spoke up, I'm Kim Ji-in. They both bowed politely. Sojiro sincerely promised, we'll do our best not to trouble you. Red remained irritable, these guys. Didn't you hear me tell you to get lost? She thought inwardly, they look weak already. Yet GT briefly agreed, fine, which made Red furious, hey, who allowed them into the team? So GT said, if you don't like it then find your own teammates. Yet the girl lowered her voice, fine then, how troublesome. Seeing that scene, Sojiro and Kim Ji-in were both stunned into silence. In the end Red had to watch. Hey you weaklings, if you block me in a fight you'd better watch out. Sojiro cheerfully replied, thank you. But suddenly a hand shot out and struck hard at his head, making Sojiro clutch his head in pain. It was Johnny, who glared and warned, you pathetic trash. Didn't I tell you to stop hanging around me? You want to die? Sojiro cried from the pain. He hurriedly said, sorry. Johnny then turned to tease Kim Ji-in. Hey, your boyfriend apologized. Aren't you going to say anything? He put his hand on her head provocatively. Nothing to say? At that, his friends joked, hey Johnny, there's a guardian for the other group. Tone it down. He sneered, so what? The adults don't care about orphans. Emboldened, Johnny grabbed Kim Ji-in's hair and taunted. Hey, you should cut your bangs. They look so gloomy. She tried to pull his hand away but couldn't, only weakly crying, don't do that. Johnny laughed smugly, oh orphan, and still daring to talk back. He didn't notice Red had stepped up beside him. She calmly said, orphan? What do you mean? Hearing that he flinched. He thought to himself, who is this girl? Yeo Riem, the madwoman representing the Blue Dragon Academy. Red shoved her hands in her pockets and impatiently said, I'll ask again. What do you mean by orphan? Johnny pursed his lips, recalling his family's words. The elders told him to stay away from people like that. So he released Kim Ji-in's hair and turned to explain. Haha, you don't know what orphan means? It means a student without a guardian. Basically, ragged people without backing. As he said this he laughed and pointed at Kim Ji-in and Sojiro. Red ruffled her hair, so that's it, really have to team up with this bunch of environmental pollutants? Hearing her, Johnny put an arm around her as if friendly and went along. Hey, don't tell me you'll team up with them. You're so strong. Why team with the weak? Or join our team. If you agree, I can give up a spot. His 2 lackeys were stunned. One challenged Johnny, what are you saying? But Johnny didn't care. He was calculating that even if she's crazy, having her on his side would be extremely good for him. Her fighting style looks pretty compatible. Just need to flatter her a bit more. Then a punch to the face occurred, and of course Johnny took it squarely. Before the two lackeys gaped in astonishment, and the pair Kim Ji-in and Sojiro. He could only cover his mouth and listen to Red's tirade. Hey, you rotten fool, you want to die? Who gave you permission to put your hand on my shoulder? Are we that close? How dare you stand equal to me, you insect? Johnny stood frozen with a contorted face, but inside he screamed, that bitch. All right, just wait. Then unexpectedly he turned his back and walked away despite Red's continued insults. Next time I see your face, you're done. Kim Ji-in and Sojiro both stared at Red in shock. GT, being used to it, could only sigh tiredly. Then the teacher stepped forward and announced, attention all students, this is Combat Professor Kwon Git. He looked lazy and said, now I'll explain the rules. You will be divided into 50 teams, starting from separate spawn points. Activity points, defeats, deaths, damage, all are scored and ranked directly. If you die, you must wait 3 hours to respawn at a different point, remember this. The virtual dungeon is called Ant Nest, and true to its name, the location is a massive cavern. The teacher concluded his presentation with a wish. Good luck everyone, dismissed, and one by one they stepped into the virtual matrix. GT's team entered as well. Red laughed. Not bad, quite impressive. Great. Then let's kick things off with a slaughter. But Kim Ji-in hurriedly stopped her and asked, wait, how do you know where the other teams are to fight them? Red blinked, said, run around and you'll run into them. Kim Ji-in explained, sorry, but we're not as fast or agile as you. If you rush off alone, we could be ambushed from behind. Red scoffed, heavens, are you proud of being weak? Kim Ji-in suggested we should form a strategy before acting. Red sneered, strategy? Just let me fight and you lot cover me from behind. Kim Ji-in now scolded seriously, this is a team match, not a solo. Don't act recklessly. Red glared and snapped. I took pity on you and let you join the team. Now you're trying to boss me around? Sojiro between them anxiously intervened. Hey, everyone calm down. GT then spoke up. Do you have any specific targets? Kim Ji-in was taken aback by the sudden question. GT kept a cold expression and continued. How many teams do you want to take down? Kim Ji-in replied, it's not that easy. Every team has a tactical commander, so it's hard to catch them off guard. Red couldn't help muttering, what pessimism. So many teams, my foot. Then the notorious girl flashed a triumphant grin. Coolly answered, see a team, wipe them out. Over there, Johnny was grimacing from the loving gift Red had given him, muttering as he walked, that brat. My face still hurts. The group's navigator asked, why do you keep teasing Yeo-Riam and getting hit? Our superiors told us not to touch her. He replied sullenly, I just wanted to make friends. Didn't expect she's really crazy. A lackey then spoke up, but Johnny, earlier you meant to chase someone away to win Yeo-Riam over, were you serious? Hearing that he flinched, of course not. I was just testing her reaction. To cover himself he stamped fiercely and shouted, you Yeo-Riam, just wait. See you later, I'll tear you apart. Unexpectedly, out of nowhere, a chilling voice to Johnny rang out. Tear me apart? Big sis Red rushed over from somewhere, her sword gleaming oddly, her face full of affection, which froze Johnny for 5 seconds. He was speechless, his expression frozen. Red looked at him and taunted, try it then. Before he could move, she delivered a kick to his jaw, the second strike. Johnny's pitiful HP dropped from 100 to 17. She then spun elegantly to the awe of onlookers. As a result, Johnny was kicked into a wall, causing a significant aftershock. Johnny's navigator thought in shock, damn, we've been monitored. He yelled, we're under attack, prepare to fight, and the two lackeys readied their machine guns and assumed attack positions. Red landed on the ground and said calmly, fight all you want. You've got it wrong. Then she slowly lifted her head and smiled savagely. This is just my one-sided hunt, you dogs.
Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more awesome content.